Hello, hello! I am here. Only seconds late. At least on my end. It's probably going to be a little longer due to the natural delay and the fact that I cannot be bothered to go in and change that setting for each and every stream. Anyway, we're trying to put it up now. Hello, how do? Yeah. Oh shit, I need to do level ups and stuff. Taking it easy. Hey, good to hear. It is a necessary thing. Oh, what am I gonna do here? I have everything. Orchestrate flames. No longer stops burning. I mean, I guess I could take some stuff. And I hope tomorrow's overtime passes with great speed. I'm gonna go for Sanctic so I can start burning souls. Actually, let's go for a bit of healing and lower warp. Let's see. Call slash dashes through the enemy. Forceful strike, gather all their might. Next melee attack pushes the enemy away. The distance of this push is equal to 3 cells. Cannot be used with heavy rocks. Sworn enemy. Marks a target, gaining armor and damage on melee attacks against that target. The target attacks the warrior during the round. They gain 1 EP. Let's go for that. Get you a bit of athletics. Argenta. What are we getting up to? Dash would be nice. Rapid fire. You don't really use bursts anymore. Are they using area attacks or other stuff? Immediately dashes in directions, spending all their movement points. Does not provoke. And, they may dash through allies and enemies, not obstacles. Yeah, let's go for that. Entrench. Immediately spends all their AP, MP, and gains improved cover efficiency. Next time they use a running gun, they gain back all their AP and MP. Plus 1 additional. Holy shit. That could be good. And demolition. Joint analysis. No, intimidation. It's more effects on your stuff. Tactical knowledge? Shit, I really don't like the whole exploits thing. Yeah, our Xenos. Precise attack. I guess. And tech use. Glimpse of Fate. Improved hit chance on their next attack. Dodge test. And resistance test. These bonuses appear to spend independently for each. So they're being applied. Scourge of the Red Tribe. Negative crit circle of radius. Creature that enters it remains their turn and it suffers damage. Circle remains for 3 rounds or until the gator creates another one. Bunch of Curiosity. Enemies in a real radius around the target must pass willpower or immediately move themselves towards that point. Show the path. Or Cursed Unleashed. The enemy becomes cursed until the end of combat. That could be nice. See, all enemies within the area suffer a penalty to their willpower and toughness until the end of combat. And it's enemies specifically, so I could pop that in the middle of a melee and not have to worry about hitting stuff. Let's see. After 1 round passes and the effects remove apathy, failure stuns the creature, and removes the apathy. Creature Vigil beyond time. First use of this ability on any target marks the target. Enemy targets must pass a willpower test to avoid this. Second use returns the target to the position. Let's go for show the path. Glimpse of Fate, actually. And you are still my persuasion engine. And I don't need to level up the others. Okay. Rat hunting. So we need to get to Footfall. Oh yeah, High Factotum, Generous Denric, and Voxmaster Victus Tolman are ready to share the latest news from the Expanse and the Protectorate. Let's see, Vabos 6 still requires my direct supervision. I'm not seeing any new projects. And our ship has been upgraded. Date from oldest to newest. Before anything else, let's go deal with the crisis in Vabos 6. Brave merchant ruined by his competitors and 10. Oh, and we got a whole lot of contracts. Cool. The start of our. A gargantuan explorer turned mass transport is returning from a long expedition. Its star hunting is taking longer than expected, and it is in desperate need of provisions, water, and air. The captain is willing to show generosity. The ship's holds are brimming with plasma batteries. Yeah, sure. Patronage. An influential Alchemtech guild from the world of Varsius has enjoyed the patronage of the Fellowship of the Void for many years. Substantial bribes offered to these masters of substance transformation would help them find the courage to seek refuge under the House von Valancius's wing. Emperor's Chains. Even a creation as monumental as the God Emperor's statue on Footfall requires regular maintenance. The station is willing to pay with thousands of mercenaries in exchange for a new set of chains to bind the asteroids to the statue. Yeah. Heirs. The powerful governor of the orbital palace station of Weda Weda has been sentenced to death by Lord Inquisitor Calcazar. Now is a good time to send agents to his domain to partake in dividing the late governor's fortunes, such as his phlogiston mines on the planet of Kirn. Against the peoples, against weapons. Let's get all that phlogiston, adamantine, and plasteel. Pyramids of Death. A gang of daredevils is looking for a sponsor for their suicidal foray into the jungles of the world Paranthos and the ancient Xenos pyramid located there. Should any of them survive, in return of spoils, it will be well worth the investment. Anyway. The Imperial Navy has tried to conscript the Fellowship of Mech Sages on Larchine, renowned creators of airborne machines, by force. The brave technomets have decided to fight back. Now they require armor for their flying constructs. They got a bunch of adamantine. Might as well exchange it for mechanisms and weapons. Disreputable dealer. A once fearsome pirate captain known as a Void Shark Eophim has decided to leave his old craft behind and is trying his hand at the calmer and more refined cold trade. He's willing to purchase his first shipment of forbidden goods by trading weapons from his infamous raider. Sure. Rebels. A group of rebels from the void city of Hephaestus 9 is looking for someone who could supply them with deadly chemicals to perpetrate an attack against the station's satrap. Should their request be satisfied, it will soon be time to send crews of void cutters to the station to salvage what remains of the metal husk. Sure. And then Conqueror. Weapons for provisions, people, and insatiable gem blade. A brave merchant, ruined by his competitors, intends to attack Curlay, a flourishing world rich with fish inhabited by a primitive people. The merchant intends to reward whoever provides assistance with this expedition with a share of the spoils. Sure. And the rest of that is just profit factor. And we're at Janus. Cool. Oh, and I got a whole bunch more extracting. That's nice. Anyway, if I did things properly... Mundus Valancius. Not quite. There's Vabos. With a shipwreck. Whoop. Something to do over September. And there's some stuff to explore elsewhere. I really should connect all of my worlds. Permission to report, Lord Captain. Sarback's voice is resonant. Mistress Cabela has been apprehended by enforcers at the scene of a crime. Eyewitnesses saw her assault and kill the esteemed Chirurgeon Majoris. She has confessed to the murder. The penalty for murdering a senior officer is death. However, given Mistress Cabela's honorable service and her special status, I dare not proceed without your permission. She is incarcerated and awaiting your judgment. Let me know when you are ready to hear her case. Let's see, tormented by a spiritual infliction. I need to put her in. Damn it. Okay, I'm gonna go handle what's going on in... let's see. Urgent message. Armed forces have arrested a dangerous saboteur who attempted to gain entry onto the bridge. This incident may be worthy of your attention. You see, both the saboteur and the circumstances of his capture are rather strange. You cannot tell if Victus sounds baffled or worried. I think it would be reasonable for Magos Pascal to take a look at him as well. What's so unusual about the saboteur and the way he was captured? The thing is, Lord Captain, the saboteur is most definitely a tech priest. He found his way aboard the ship and penetrated all our security systems with staggering ease. Both his ability to communicate with machine spirits and the combat potential of his augmentations are extraordinary. Nevertheless, the enforcers managed to capture him. During the arrest of the intruder, he offered no resistance at all. Instead, he asked for an audience with the Great Machine Spirit. When he realized that the enforcers had no idea what he was talking about, he asked to meet you. I consider it necessary to apprise you of this situation. This infiltration of a rogue trader's ship authorized by engine seers casts doubt on my tech comrade's stability. If he is indeed my tech comrade, that is. Regardless, I request permission to communicate with the captive. Very well, I'll speak with him. Understood, Lord Captain. The saboteur will be brought to you. Nomos, the group of servitors whose movements are suspiciously well synchronized, stares at the towering prisoner. You do not need to hear them speak to recognize Nomos, who is seen fit to attend the interrogation. The captured man, if he could be called that, looks positively gigantic next to the enforcers at his side. Deadly-looking metal gleams dimly beneath his faded crimson robes. His hands are folded obediently, and his mechadendrites are perfectly still. I greet the master of this vessel cathedral and offer my humble apologies for this unbidden intrusion. My apologies to you as well, brother. The interloper inclines his head in the direction of the frowning Pascal. Then the prisoner turns slightly and looks straight at Nomos' observing servitors. And of course, I must beg for forgiveness from you, Great Spirit. It was not my intent to desecrate your temple. See, before I accept your apologies, tell me who you are and why you infiltrated my ship. My name, if it matters, is Asclepius, formerly a computator general of the Cognitions fleet, now a Liber recluse with the status of Malatech. Malatechs are exiles whose ideas have not crossed the line of heresy yet have come close to it. They are removed from the fleet structure to give them a chance to see the folly of their ways, and prevent sedition from spreading. Pascal's voice sounds unusually alarmed. All of that is trivial. My past is nothing but a set of archived data. My lost status is a part replacement string in the long chronicle of the Cognitions fleet. I come not as the priesthood's messenger, but as a faithful disciple of the most holy Amarnat. My brother once served as the engineer prime on this ship. Asclepius gestures around him reverently. He's an adherent of the school of discontinuing the cycle, as am I. It has spread that far. It's difficult to discern Pascal's emotions from his tone. I know that my brother perished. Before he did, he sent me a message that told of a journey embarked upon by Theodora von Valancius. A journey through a dimensional gate, an artifact most ancient. They're more ancient than humanity itself, and towards worlds unknown. The blessed Amarnat was with her. There, upon those dark worlds, he witnessed a great miracle, the birth of a machine spirit of incalculable might. My brother believed that this spirit then fell asleep within this ship like a child in a cradle, not responding to lowly pleas. That was the purpose of my pilgrimage, to reach the ship where my brother died, the ship upon whose decks the blessed Amarnat had walked, and prostrate myself before the Great Spirit. He traveled on this ship? Yes, he did. My brother's words on this were clear. Years ago, Amarnat was part of rogue trader Theodora's inner circle before they parted ways. Tell me more about Theodora's journey. My knowledge of it is scarce. My brother suspected that his memory, along with the memory of all who might have known the details, had been purposely modified. He saw it as a sign that the journey had revealed a great truth, and there were those who do not wish to see the truth brought to light. See, all that he conveyed to me was that Theodora had reached worlds, unlike any the people of the Corners Expanse had ever seen. There, she unearthed a great treasure of technology, one that Amarnat had the privilege of experiencing. What do you know about this great spirit? It is a great miracle, the omniscience breath, meant to help us discontinue the cycle. It was born of the treasure that Amarnat and Theodora discovered upon the Dark Worlds. Yet even a being so glorious needs attendants and guides. And as soon as the Cognizance Fleet is... And as long as the Cognizance Fleet is racked by schism and my brothers and sisters suffer defeats without end, there's no one to aid the spirit. That's why I came here. Does the name Nomos mean anything to you? Nothing. He has not come to know us yet. He will if you let him, as it though. We know. We sense that his words are about us, that the story he has told is our story. You were strong, yet you let yourself be caught. I took a vow I would never inflict physical harm upon lay people. The Omnissiah grants us the power of the true flesh for a purpose other than damaging the frail and blind creatures that are all who have not yet tasted. His knowledge. I don't know why I thought that was a period there. I have made my decision. Whatever it is, I will accept it. As will I, and yet I plead that my brother be shown leniency. His story initializes thought. We ask you to keep him for us. Nomos's servitors speak up suddenly in whispers of... speak up suddenly in the faintest of whispers. Let's see, I find you guilty of offenses against the Cult Mechanicus and House von Valancius. Your crimes warrant punishment more severe than death. You will atone by serving me, and therefore the Imperium. I could not ask for more. All I wish is to remain in these halls and observe and reverence the Great Spirit's deeds. Let the cycle be discontinued. Nomos' servitors turn their heads to you, not all at once, what can be interpreted as an expression of gratitude. And talk to Nomos. Should probably do that right now. Yeah. Hi, Nomos. The massive figure of Malatek Asclepius is frozen before the cogitator in a praying pose. Without raising his head, he addresses you. I salute the ruler of the ship. See, you were in a servitor's body at Magna Accessio, Nomos. So how is it that you were... at once again in a cogitator? Nomos is not in a cogitator, or in a servitor. We cannot say where we are, but our existence is tied to the existence of the ship for now. The servitor and the cogitator are only external interfaces. Shells, like humans in their bodies. So you really are the spirit of the ship? Nomos is silent for a long time, as though mulling over your words. We do not know what we are. The ship is not us. The ship is our cradle. We may rise from it one day. We would like that. Bodies are not merely shells. No, they are shells. The rasping voice sounds adamant. A human's existence is more than the existence of its shell. This is obvious to us. There's always something more. Something that simmers and shines, for which the dark light and wicked hunger are always reaching. Enough of that for now. I see you have found your great spirit, Asclepius. I have found a miracle, and in the end of my worldly road. I have never seen, and never will see, anything more meaningful than the spirit of Nomos. In the face of its multitude, we are nothing but the fixed values of an erroneous function. You read the databank recovered from Theodora's cache, and then you said the incident marked the beginning of Nomos. What did you mean by that? Yes, Nomos remembered. You brought us data systems that contained the name, Epitaph. We recognized it. Not like that. In that name, we recognized the place where Nomos originated. Okay. Oh well. So I need to talk to Nomos more. Okay, and that'll be after I talk to everyone else. I can save that. I still need to get to Vabos 6. And save them from whatever horrible fate they find themselves in. Anyway, Lord Captain, Vigdis's vox-distorted voice sounds even more mechanical and detached than normal. The Lady Navigator has been waiting for you on the bridge for half a watch cycle now. You see, because of her presence, the officers... She clears her throat. I believe Lady Acacia wishes to speak to you about something very important. Her unease is spreading to those around her. Ugh. Lord Captain. Cassia clasps her hands together and begins with an air of cold aloofness about her. We must speak. Now. Okay, off to my office, I presume. Let's see. Cassia takes a few anxious steps towards the study and then says reservedly, having given much thought to all that has happened, and to us, perhaps you do indeed have feelings for me. Perhaps I have feelings for you in turn, but she falters. We are not meant to become something more. What? The time will come when my duty to House Orcelio will call upon me, and you have already been summoned to do your duty to the God Emperor and your protectorate. Would it not be better then if we ended things now, before it's too late? Really am dear to your heart, you will understand. A tense silence hangs in the air, and Cassia turns away to hide her emotions. Let's see. I have options like, Lady Cassia, have I upset you in some way? No, I have not. I've not been convincing enough. That's not the issue. So it's already too late for me. I cannot bear the thought of a life without you. Is this what you truly want? Is renouncing one's duty truly the only way to be with another person? I can agree with her. I said there has to be anything between us. Respect your wishes. Is this what you truly want? Cassia trembles, opens her mouth, and even moves her lips, but the words refuse to come out. This I have already said so. Is renouncing one's duty truly the only way to be with another person? It is for her. It is already too late for me. I cannot bear the thought of a life without you. No, that is merely what your heart is telling you. I see human feelings every day with these very eyes. Cassie opens her eyes and frowns and purses her lips. Emotions are fleeting. They wither all too quickly sometimes. Love, fear, attachment, everything passes. So you were right. Our feelings are a liability, but House Orcelio and the Von Valencia's protectorate could benefit from a dynastic alliance. What say you? Will you agree to become my dearest wife? Cassia looks dazed and possibly saddened. She considers it for a while. Stuff happening. Anyway, once our incessant haste has passed. Alright, and then offers you a reserved smile. Naturally, as the little von Valancius. Once our incessant haste has passed, once the turmoils of the expanse have settled and our dynasties are ready, this marriage will take place. And I will be honored to and proud to call you my dearest husband and kind. Still smiling mirthlessly, Cassia nods and walks away. Maybe I didn't handle that the best way, but hey. Back to the bridge. I still need to handle this stuff on Vivo 6. Even Gamora itself. Has gotten in the way of getting to this colony. We need to look at the shipwreck. Chartist ship loaded with valuable cargo has crash landed on the planet. While legal scholars are divided on the legitimacy of the Rotator's claim on cargo, local inhabitants are already preparing to loot the vessel, and the crew is bracing itself for a bitter defense. Burn the contentious riches and provide assistance to the surviving crew. This is no time to be filling one's pockets, plundering, or fighting over trophies. Crew surrenders the ship without a fight, not daring to object to the Rotator's will. Both they and the locals watch dejectedly as the valuable cargo goes up in righteous flames. Oh! And we have new colony projects. Let's see, the Earthbreaker, Pure Blood. Okay, the Earthbreaker, blessed hydraulic installation of the Adeptus Mechanicus, crush the greedy bowels of the earth, freeing the priceless minerals within that the Imperium so desperately needs. Getting us some Drakari equipment. Pure blood. The rogue trader may grant the convicts the right to buy, with their labor, the freedom of their children from captivity. Giving us profit factor and iconoclast. So, Extractum Ignifera. Transuranium's value is such that its open pit mining will be worth thousands of lives lost to radiation exposure. Producing efficiency, but getting us a bunch of stuff. Do not need that. Captive Xenos. Acquiring captives from the enemies of humanity. For use in forced labor is a possible way to replenish the workforce. Losing us some profit factor, getting us people, losing us security. So that's a no. Purification by death. In the Expanse's darkest hours, convicts may take the martyr's shift and descend into the mines, never to resurface, thereby clearing their name. Navy Whips. The disciplinary officers of the Imperial Navy would make wonderful wardens for Vabos 6. Craven's Bane. Two-headed Chainsword. And Penal Battalion. Diligent Cannoneers. Ooh. Higher critical chance with macro cannons. Let's see, an entire planetary regiment of Martyr Guardsmen. Gift from the Rogue Traders of the Coronis Expanse in its darkest hour. First, let's go for Pure Blood. Get some profit factor going. Do I need to visit everywhere else to... No? Okay. Suddenly I have access to all the stuff. Let's see, need more Drusians. false wonders. By showing illusions to the masses, it's possible to gain a lot of attention and attract pilgrims. Caligace of St. Keith. Whenever the wearer performs a heroic act or desperate measure, they recover all their wounds and gain +2 AP this turn. Missionaries. All non-Xenos allies gain +2 deflection against Xenos and demons. Chronos Expanse is in need of stalwart defenders, and Foulstone can help by sending its children to every dark corner of the sector. Getting a sleight of faith for the deflection. It's a profit factor and a lovely bit of security for all of my colonies. Lightbringers. With the warp currents tangled, refugees lose their way and perish in terror. The rogue trader can send out pious patrols to help those in distress and light warp beacons. So, we can sacrifice people, plasteel, and promethium for navigator's insight. Yes, please. Holy shit, yes. And crucible. Refactor, whole bunch of holy gifts. After millennia of lying under the monastery, St. Cognatius' titanic machine will soon be launched. It will take resources to awaken the relic, but doing so will bring glory to the Von Valancius name. Holy man. Plus 10% damage for 2 turns and plus 10 temporary wounds when a character uses their origin ability. Uses. I will worry about rank 5 stuff later. For now, as much as I like the profit factor, Navigator's Insight is a hell of a lot more valuable. Especially since that's enough to connect up Vebas 6 with Dargonis. On Janus, we have a payment in organs. The large increase in tithes will be supplemented by a decree that addresses the current shortfalls in other ways. Sacrificing people for a change of stagnation. Sniper Lies getting us some profit factor at the expense of complacency. A secret lair. A new secret lodge of Xeno specialists will decipher the written records left by the ancient Xenos that once inhabited Janus. They're a machine taming. All allies gain plus 10 lore Xenos and plus 10 lore Xenos over 5% dodge reduction against the Xenos. Losing some security, gaining efficiency for all of our colonies. Death Cult of the Reaper Emperor. The decree requires that all redundant members of the community give themselves to the land, allowing themselves to become a nourishing compost on which the sprouts of future prosperity conversion. Greater efficiency of dogmatic. Let's go for the secret lair, I think. It's a great fire. Territory for new aggro complexes can be gained only one way, the wave fire. All allies deal plus 10% damage with melted plasma weapons. I'm not really using those. Maybe at speed, but... Fake of Perdition. Let's go... Now let's go for the efficiency everywhere. Now then, on Dargonis, we have Holy Prophets. Eyes of Joyous, where Psi rating is increased by +1 against demons and for each rank of dogmatic. Oh my god! That's going to be so much better than the visor of inevitability. Oh, that's Origin. Okay, then, False Wonders? Nah, Missionaries. Yeah, it's still working. And also a whole bunch of profit factors. See the date for the payment of the tithe approaches. However, by making use of the corrupt practices of the administratum, one could find a way to keep both the Psychers and the thrones. Huh. Let's see, and praising the muses. Patronage of architects and other artists will allow the creation of amazing and monumental works marked with the rogue trader's likeness. Getting us remembered in prayers for +5 willpower and +1 resolve for everyone. People, complacency, and efficiency. Please the tired. The adeptus administratums of vanity may be indulged for the construction of a floating palace filled with helpful serfs and exquisite pleasures. Mollified by the bribe, the scribes will be especially attentive to the rogue trader's needs. That'll cost me profit factor. Nobility is perfection. The rogue trader gains +5 bonus to all their skills. Call to arms. It's time for the Dragonus nobility to forget their feuds and take up arms in defense of their native world. More security. We got familial power armor for our wolf. Charter of mineral rights. For a little bit of complacency more. Praising the muses would do that. But I really want that helmet. I see they're having fun out there. Anyway, Kiavagama, brand of the motive force. It's possible to utilize all of Kiavagama's potential by covering its surface in a huge electute. The whole world will be wrapped in a grandiose potentia coil. All the profit factor. Certainly would be worthwhile. Orbital shipyard. Oh. Our allied void ships have +30 hull integrity and +10% damage dealt. An orbital shipyard will provide the Imperium's massive vessels with proper repair and produce new void ships. Oh, I'll get us security everywhere. That would be appreciated. Imperial Navy will love us. Tools of killing. Retrofitted mining equipment may be of interest to the pirates of the Expanse. It does not take... So whenever the wielder hits... So it doesn't take a brilliant mind to turn a mining laser into a weapon. Whenever the wielder hits a creature with an arc rifle, they also hit a creature into... Oh, that's normal. +1 base damage. Arc rifle, Mind Storm. Could be nice. And... okay. Nothing to worry about. Sacred Flame! Passing through distillation plants and a multitude of filters, raw materials with high energy potential will be transformed into combustible promethium. If the proper liturgies have been served, it will be employed as the Emperor's burning wrath. Sanctified promethium, +10%, or +15% more damage with flamers and grenades. Titan Forged Lance, huh? Dark experiments. Secret experiments with the wrecks of Xenos ships will be conducted at the orbital shipyard. A mechanical trade. Memory of the Daring. The Imperial Navy has sustained heavy losses, but they're willing to provide valuable machinery in exchange for trained tech priests. Profit factor, some better shields. Sacrilege of creation. That's heretical, not doing that. But what it would be is the heresy of creativity may bear practical fruit if subjects are allowed to secretly produce the mechanisms they invent. Hungering mind. The power of burning effects inflicted by the wearer increased by +1 for each enemy affected by the wearer's area attacks. That would be really effective for Argenta, but no. Archive of Expanse. I am Messiah. Lower hit chance, but higher critical hit chance. I don't really care about that. Yavagama will become the main data repository of the Expanse. Thousands of scribes register cargo, and lenses of watchful cogitators process myriads of documents. Let's go for Orbital Shipyard first. Anyway, we need to find traces of the Gene Stealer cults. We need to go to Footfall. We need to go to Quetzaltemur to deal with Caligos. The incident. The path we lost. Talk to Irliet. On the bridge, find the world where the Eldari are stranded. Condemned. High Factotum reports that Solomorn is demoted after failing an Arbitus mission. Bring him back into the retinue will require the rotator to travel the Vebos 6. Well, I'm here. So I guess I gotta go down into the pits. Since I'm here. Greetings, your lordship. You've come to collect him, haven't you? Overseer Anthar, I mean? You look a little disturbed. Is Solomorn causing trouble? Most certainly not. He's an arbitrator through and through, albeit a discharged one. It's just the jailer's rebreather amidst a shuddering wheeze. He's so diligent in his work that us common people cannot keep up. State plainly what your problem is. Your lordship, Vebos 6 is a grim and dismal place, but how shall I put this? Master Anthar has made it unbearable. He's introduced new policies. Each shift now begins with a penitential scourging, followed by an inspection. Even the slightest offense merits 10 lashes, a thorough search, and yet more punishment. I'm talking about the jailers here. Are you saying the colony has become less folk? I guess. Why is Solomorn dictating procedures? Are you not in charge here? I'm in charge of just the sector, or was in charge anyway. The head of the colony said that now that we have an ex-arbitrator, we should heed his wisdom and learn from it. Called us planetoid-dwelling dust-gorgers too, but that's beside the point. And you have learned nothing, choosing instead to wallow in cowardice. Yes, I did cut him for Solomorn. Where is he? Emperor be praised. I mean, he's not far from here, carrying out routine cell inspections. You should have no trouble finding him. Are you saying the colony has become less functional? Quite the opposite. We have never enjoyed such strict discipline. Except, people are dying a bit too quickly, on both sides of the bars. I mean, your lordship, there have been several attempts to master Anthar's life. The hate has grown stronger than the fear. Take him away from here, I beg you. Please, take him away. I need to see him immediately. Emperor bless you. Anthar's Edict Amendment 12 contains a minute-by-minute schedule for each prisoner's duties and a detailed system of punishments for them. At the bottom of a seal is a seal with an inscription approved by the colony government.
I need to find the answers.
Cast your eye there.
Oh, boots. Shield bearer's boots. Assault onslaught ability twice each turn. Glato. Something wriggling in the prisoner's rags. A rat, greatly gnawing the flesh off a still-living man. Its emaciating victim only twitches a finger convulsively. Solomon himself with a crippled arm. It doesn't matter, you're already dead. Solomon turns sharply towards you. He's not wearing a rebreather, and fresh bandages peek out from under his uniform. The former proctor roars, consumed with rage. Open yourselves! Who did it? Speak, or this will be... It seems Solomon is a breath away from lunging for you next. A recognition glimmers in those deranged eyes, and his voice goes quiet, as if all his strength has fled him. Plato? What happened here? A pathetic attempt on my life. Second one today. One of the jailers left the cells unlocked so that the prisoners could do their dirty work. No matter, I will find the culprits and execute each and every one of them. I was told you'd been discharged. How did that happen? I failed the mission. Failed everyone. Solomon clenches his teeth. There were too many enemies. The situation was against us. No, I'm not making excuses. It was not my first mission to go awry, and I didn't have Glato with me. I was sloppy, unfocused. I ordered the retreat too late. I managed to drag one of the arbitrators to the infirmary. The man died of his wounds. Bottom line, the objective was not accomplished. 10 arbitrators were lost, and their commander was somehow left alive. Like a coward, I hoped to be executed, but the marshal sent me to rot on Vabos 6 instead, and he was right to do so. Why are you not wearing a rebreather? The hair here is noxious. I'm too used to arbitrators' helmets. They do not cover the lower part of the face. As for my well-being, frankly, I couldn't care less. So come, I've already submitted a petition to have you reinstated. No, stop, I can't leave. I'm guilty. DX1, pull yourself together. I've judged myself and handed down the sentence. Not because of the demotion, though it was the last straw. I cannot do it anymore. I cannot look at the lying governors, the scoundrels who succumbed to corruption. Or the Xenos who consort with humans, because they don't take me. It is permitted under the law of your sector. But, above all else, I cannot bear to look at myself, an arbitrator who's coming apart at the seams, who turns into a wreck without his dog, who... Solomon releases a ragged sigh, who no longer believes that Lex Imperialis prevails anywhere at all. Yurliet looks down at the man, but her voice sounds slightly gentler than usual. You see the true face of your kind's world, ugly, cruel, and deceitful, but the pain you feel is not the end. You have a choice, even now, even here. The trial of will is an immutable part of every journey. It's time to combat your weakness and light the fire of true faith in your heart. And what is the sentence? I will serve on Vabos 6 until either the world itself or its inhabitants end my existence. Until that day, I will mold this prison into a paragon of imperial order. And what about Glato? I don't have the right to keep him anymore. He reaches his middle fingers towards the Cybermastiff's head, but stops short of touching it. Deliver him to the marshal. They'll find Glato a new master. Solomon slowly raises his hand. His face is twisted in torment. Perhaps his injuries are causing him pain, or perhaps it's the words he's trying to force out. Glato, protocol mortem edi, guard the target. Solomon points a trembling finger at you. But the Cybermastiff does not react. The scarlet lights of his visors stare at Solomon. Not a muscle beneath the dark coat quivers in response to the order to leave his master. He's not listening to me. Is this the aftermath of that damned mission on Thessera, or do the tech priests have to reset him to basic protocols? Throne, what difference does it make? My dog, I can't even give him one last order. Why, Glato? See, Glato has protected you from the convict. Is that not enough for you? You stacked as one, but not anymore. Last remnants of my composure are gone. Look at me. I'm a human scrap, not an arbitrator. Just an appendage to a Cybermastiff. Thing is, I don't really want to keep him around, since I just don't use him. No, we need to keep, we need to keep good relations with the Arbitus. Even so, I'm not leaving without you. You will. We can't stand here forever. The Emperor laid this burden upon us in certainty that we were equal to it. Now you are doubting yourself, but not the Lex Imperialis. Tell me, am I right? Stubbornly looking at you, he says with gritted teeth. Humans may be imperfect, but his law is not. See, you do not think a mortal can embody the perfection of the law, do you? We can only strive. So strive then, Solomorn. You can do no more than that. Solomorn closes his eyes in prayer. Only God Emperor is perfect and can interpret the spirit of the law. We follow the letter of it as his faithful servants. The Emperor protects you, despite our enemies and machinations. That means your service is still of use to him. Too many times he's diverted a bullet meant for me. Too many. Think of the heretics we have destroyed. Do you not feel righteous anger, knowing that other transgressors will escape your justice? I do. I feel the weight of sentences undelivered, of duty unfulfilled. Metal fingers close around Glato's collar. You've convinced me. To the void with Vabos 6. My place is not here. I am ready to serve once more. I will head to the ship at once. If you need anything, you can find me at my usual post on the bridge. Let's grab the stuff that was behind you. Ruby Splash. The wearer can use ranged weapons and melee. Ranged attacks against adjacent targets. Gain higher critical chance. That might be good for... then again, it would be replacing the Sacred Bolter Casing, which is really goddamn good. Because single attacks with bolter weapons automatically hit the target, and then I have Deadly Precision, where single attacks with this pistol always score critical hits. Which is why she has been so monstrously effective. And I got another level. Points. Bullet. Increased chance to critical. Immune to all MP reduction effects. Gain +1 MP unbreakable will. Gain a bonus to all resistance tests, equal to 5 times deflection. As long as the character wears light armor, their dodge is increased by 1% for every 3%. It's increased by 1/3 of the item's armor bonus of a steel. It's a big point. Steel shell, deflection is double against single target attacks, shot through. Relentless, healed, again. So when they're healed for more armor penetration. Then the enemy's armor, they gain critical chance. Shield's block is applied to weapon skill and ballistic skill. Character ignores 3. Protection under fire. Let's see, attack, gain momentum, align influence. lethal threat. Enemies hit by a character with melee attack. Know it all. Invincibility. Shield. Grievous wounds. Full attention. Firebrand. Extermination, damage, increased by 1 for each attack they've made this combat. That would be really goddamn good. Jaeger subordinates. Jaeger for battle during the first turn of combat. Gain 2 extraction points. Disastrous collision. Destroyer, melee attack. Death dealer. It relies on a character killing the first enemy in a round. Let's see, deadly aim. Dodge reduction is higher than the enemy's dodge for applying the armor modifier. Character's damage against the enemy, yeah. Critical velocity. Critical chance and critical damage increased by 5% of their dodge. Contagion and chaos. Let's see. Blinded, slowed, fatigued, perplexed, and disturbed. Random enemies. Same happens with stunned and prone. Actually, contagion on like these two would be really effective since they like to knock people down. Let's go for tricky defense. Get some more dodge out of our armor. And since I have healing now, let's go for Pulse of Life. As far as you, combat meditation. Oh yes, I was looking for something else, but giving you flesh wounds would also be good. Oh, the combination of lethal threat and malign influence would be so good. Enemies hit by the character with melee attacks must pass a willpower resistance test or make the character their priority target until the start of the character's next turn. And whenever those enemies fail those willpower resistance tests, they take direct damage. Scaling with the willpower bonus. Out of my way, peak condition. Way more healing. But yeah, I think I'm gonna go for Relentless. Flesh wounds. Ready to serve. Formidable distraction. Yeah, let's take unflinching. Whenever an attack made by an ally hits the vanguard first time, it deals no damage. If it's a burst attack, it applies to each successful hit of the burst. Wall of Pharaoh, create Lords of Endurance. Let's go for Resilient Beacon. Reducing incoming critical damage. First, you, critical velocity. Contagion. Give you more action points to start off with. Then again, something like flesh wounds. I think I might just go for pinpoint accuracy in this case. Which scales with ballistic skill. I guess the ballistic skill bonus. So it would do pretty well with some stuff. Start together. Blood haze. At least one enemy with a melee. Oh. Devastating attack also reduces the target's armor by 7% and toughness by 10 until the end of combat. Contempt for the weak. Critical versatility. Dependable. Gaining armor with versatility. Search Militant deals plus 15 damage to targets that have a priority target, regardless of whether it's the Archmilitant or not. Ingenious. Ooh, enemies that are forced to make a resistance test by the Archmilitant will make any resistance test from any source. Oh, yes. So, deadly aim. Ignore deflection with you. If an enemy suffers a critical hit from the assassin's allies, start the... Oh. Yeah, might as well go for that. Morally effective, not Vitality heightens. Lethal concentration. Killing spree. Keep your distance. Actually, I think lethal concentration might be good. Getting me some good, a way to actually build up lethality. Anyway. As for you, you are something. Treat defense, tipping point, steel shell. If penetration is something you're going to worry about. Honestly, pinpoint accuracy. Fuck deflection. Let's see. Should spread scan protocols. Let's get lethal concentration 2, and then our dear Cassia. What am I gonna have to do here? Malign influence, I believe. Everything I want for you, so... Let's see, comfort and conformity, cost effective. Grenades and medikits are cheaper. Hidden advantage. Nerves of Steel. Master Tactician or their allies gain momentum, they gain +1 more. Whenever they lose momentum, they lose 1 less. Ooh, press the advantage, being the... Yeah, you're not really doing stuff with that. What was it, Nerves of Steel? Yeah. More momentum. The wall, which was destroyed in the Drakari attack, has been partially rebuilt. Old Diana has left an inconspicuous message. It was better under the Xenos. I'm wondering if there's going to be a combat encounter on the way out. Suppose not. Back we go. Oh, there's a couple reinforced armored body blows. I will have to slip into one. Yep, one for me. The other for Cassia. No. Because her slick body glove is even better. You don't use body gloves. You don't like light armor. You like medium armor. Okay. could also have malign influence on you with the Interrogator's dagger. So you're doing a lot more damage. Well, actually not a lot more damage. A little bit more damage. But I am very tempted to put a shield on you. As much fun as the Interrogator's dagger is. Because that is a lot of damage. Let's make a shield man. Do 35. $40. The Iron Shield is unironically the best one. Although, extra deflection on parry. Whenever you block an attack, you gain temporary wounds. That would also be good. I'm not really using combat tactics, so that doesn't apply. Ah, there it is. Radiant Shield. Where you block an attack. I like that extra deflection and parry. Does mean his secondary has to be something. Pistol with... Ah! Those enemies and inflicts 1 stack of fatigued. What's that do anyway? Penalty to strength, toughness, agility, and reduced movement points. I'm actually tempted to put that in your offhand. You can continue doing your toxin stuff. Is there anything better in that other slot? Tactical Genius could let me build momentum really goddamn quick by having you in the sort of combat, but I really like that toughness bonus on you. Coercion. Actually, giving you a shield swing. Since I have a shield on you. Eliminate attacks entirely. Anyway, now we need to figure out where to go. Free fall, I think, is our next Port of Call. Footfall. Could have head off to Quetzal Temmer. Still need to talk to some people on the bridge. Oh yeah, we got treason with House Warsarian. Yay, nice. We got some stuff done. False Wonders. Because that's all we can do there. Janice is still doing stuff. You're still doing stuff. You're still doing stuff. Huh. Let's grab that arc rifle for our man. And the brand of motive force. I guess I can just do this. Yes, more damage on Prometheum, please. And all that stuff. I need more with the Cosbelica mission. Archive of the Expanse, just because. Power of Plasma for Sacrament of Light, engine assembled. Mysterious clique of engine elders. Continents hidden by veils of open-work steel, plasteel, and whose wisdom is so great that the servants below the rank of magos are forbidden from ever addressing them. Provides 15 speed along with average braking and acceleration. Extractum Ignea. False Wonders over here. The Crucible. Gracious priests. Need praising the muses elsewhere. Oh. These hospital and medical kits are really good. But I need praising the muses, which is under bonus. And it'll take a while. Ah. Lord Captain, there's been an act of sabotage on Kiavagama. The Cult of the Final Dawn has invaded the planet, cultivated a pack of schismaticals in the bowels of the manufactorums, and set them upon us. The attack was so sudden that we almost lost all the workshops, but we had help. Some entities, already being called Data Angels, have invaded the cogitational network, seized the cogitators and servitors, and used them to repel the first onslaught of the schismaticals. Now there's a fierce struggle taking place all over the planet. The new sphere of the world is boiling. Pulsing of the Data Angels. Allies gain plus 5 perception and plus 10% armor penetration. Now let's join forces with the Data Angels and get rid of the corruption together. Your will be done. Their forces combined, the Data Angels and brave Logos Mechanics charged to attack the Schismaticals. The hordes of data spirits were tech exorcised and exterminated, and the afflicted mechanisms purged and restored. The tech priests gave praise to the Omnissiah for protecting the protection algorithm from severe disruption. After banishing these schismaticals, the Data Angels withdrew into hiding inside the cogitational networks, leaving the servants of the Omnissiah to guess at who or what these beings were. See if I can get a Titan Forge lance if I boost that up. So, Sky Barrier, Triumphant Fury. Medium range, broadside macro cannons. Euphrates II is lost, and the Adeptus Mechanicus now seek new citadels for their hallowed production lines. Kiavagama can house workshops that will forge void ship weapons. Or warp revelations. Losing me security, but giving me efficiency across my worlds. Let's see, Kiavagama can set up a research complex for warp technologies, a dangerous and closely guarded secret of the Adeptus Mechanicus. Ethereal Visor. Oh, where's psi rating increased by 1? As long as the wearer has 100% wounds, they deal 50% additional damage with psychic powers and psychic staves. So, serpent of embossed lines coils around the barrels of these holy weapons, a complete chronicle of the exploration of the systems called the Lay of the Worlds by the servants of the Omnissiah. Holy shit. But the ethereal visor and the profit factor and the efficiency everywhere. I'm gonna go for the efficiency everywhere. And all those are still processing. Crucible. After millennia of lying under the monastery, I have gotten that thing going. Getting global complacency, a bunch of holy gifts, and holy man. Basically, whenever a character uses their origin ability, they gain up plus 10% damage for 2 turns and 20 temporary wounds. Yeah. Let's see, Holy Defenders, Arbitrator Solomon Veer's armor. Heavy armor, hit an enemy unit, human enemy. Meh. The monastery damaged by the crucible will be rebuilt. While the cathedral is being erected from the ruins, the noble monks will scour the archives for any evidence of familial connection between St. Cognatius and the von Valancius dynasty. Sacred Comet. The holy remains of the monastery, which was damaged by the launch of the crucible, will be transferred to the Fellstone's moon. Equipped with drives, the weaponized moon will leave her orbit, set on a crusade as a temple comet. Profit factor, global security and complacency. Or the monastery, having been damaged, will be transferred aboard the von Valancius flagship as a great reliquary and shelter for the Order of the Hammer. All non-Xenos allies gain a +5 bonus to all their characteristics and skills. But I'm going to go for the higher profit factor and the economic bonuses here. The establishment of ammunition production will be of great help in the defense of Fellstone and neighboring systems. Giving us sanctified projectiles, +4 microcannon damage against Chaos and Xenos. More global security. Blessed Lamp of Petrichara. Light of Petrichara effect. The character is blinded. Additional hit chance increased by the wielder's dogmatic rank, and critical hit chance the same. Loss of global security. In these dark times, a number of individuals in the Expanse have become known as honored saints. There's an opportunity to lure one such figure to Fellstone and kill him in secret. Oh, that's heretical, never mind. Yeah, it's good. Ammo production going. More security around the place. And gracious priests. I need praising the muses on Dargonis, which is going to be a bit. I got pure blood done there. I think I needed Extractium Ignifera for something. Hey, your lordship, a cryptic message arrived from Kiavagama. The Fabricator Sensor reports that they have beheld the Eye of the Divine. I requested details from your less devout servants, and they clarified the Inquest Group, which has been investigating the many inexplicable events that have taken place on the planet, followed a trail of Benharic harmonics and came upon an ancient and abandoned data complex. It is connected to the Manufactorum by a maze of communication lines and contains a gargantuan data loom. The mechanism's markings show that its designation, or I should say its rather menacing name, is Null Caliph. Null Caliph is immersed in sacred astrogational calculation and has shown no inclination to make contact. The tech priests that connected to it were punished for the intrusion with a lethal ejection of their motive force. The only thing they managed to find out is that the spirit of the data loom is not bound to the vows of compliance that the world that would normally restrain a machine spirit of such power. This astoundingly mighty entity bows to no one, driven only by its own aims. A microcogitator built from schematics bestowed upon the rogue trader by the blessed Null Caliph. Cogitator is locked in the never-ending cycle of calculating paradox if ultima octodecimum, whose essence is unfathomable to lay people. The very process of meditating on this paradox allows the thinker to solve dilemmas that would otherwise require the combined computational rituals of a dozen magi. Paradox solved. Character can use their heroic act regardless of their momentum without spending momentum. Holy shit. And solve small crime ability. Must pass a logic test at massive penalty. On success, the ability is removed and the cognizant millicrum is destroyed. Oh, okay, it's basically an ability to keep trying at the logic thing. Tech use. This is my planet, and the machine must submit to my will. Or gain the Null Caliph cogitation boards. May the signal run free over the wires. May the ocular eye be forever clear. May the enemies of the MSI be cast down. More torpedo speed. That's my planet. The machine must submit. Gonna need some additional security. Although I'm already at 10. That's a lot. I guess I can make my torpedoes faster. I don't know if that applies to my fighters. Huh. Yeah, let's go for the extra security. A group of machine spirit tamer tech priests will initiate the rites of purification at once. Oh! Nah, so much navigator insight. The tech priests solemnly began the ritual of binding Null Caliph in the chains of data vows, joining it to the planet's cogitational networks, all the while extracting priceless technological mysteries from its memory. For the first time in its existence, Null Caliph suffered pain, and it was unprepared for such an assault. After a fierce struggle, it ultimately yielded. The Eye of the Divine now served the rogue trader. Yeah! Oh, and we have unlocked dark experiments on our own. So we can get extra crit chance against Xenos enemies in ship combat, and a really powerful lance weapon. Where was the thing I needed this before? Is our lair established? We got things. Yay! Payments and organs. So I need Great Fire and Charter of Minimal Rights. On Dargonos. Savina. So, Great Fire. The Lost. The Expanse is burning and testing the middle of its void pirates. They were ready to pay in exotic xenobeasts for such simple things as air and provisions. Seeing it's more dogmatic. The Vial of Falstow. At the start of combat, the wearer gains MP equal to their resolve. They cannot be slowed, and if they're dogmatic votary, they gain +2 resolve for each rank in dogmatic and cannot be immobilized. Xeno-intoxicants. A curious intoxicating substance has been discovered in Xenos ruins. Clandestine magos alchemists' workshops will refine and distill the substance, transforming it into pure euphoria that will delight the weary souls of aristocrats who long for new diversions. Let's get the Great Fire going. No. Payment lines. That was done immediately. Nice. That will take a little bit. Lord Captain, the Crucible's great sculpting is underway. Felstone is being transformed right before our eyes into a fertile world with lush groves and clean water. However, there is evidence that the Crucible has also created humans. From the mouth of the relic came several thousand people who, speaking an archaic form of Low Gothic, demanded to be given orders. They cultivate land, build houses, and production facilities with obedience, and in general have a remarkable range of skills and knowledge. However, it seems these people completely lack their own free will, and for this, the monks have named them Touched. The tech priests who serve the Crucible came upon birthing vats built into the relic. The machine is constantly growing new Touched within them. There is a split among the faithful. Though many call it a miracle sent by the Emperor himself and want to quickly put the Touch to work, part of the population was frightened by these soulless creatures born from the ancient machine. They demanded that the planet's learned men intervene in the great sculpting and find a way to stop the production of the Touched. How dangerous are they? They do not appear to pose a threat. The autopsy of several specimens has shown they are physiologically identical to ordinary humans. No traces of corruption or xeno influence were found either. However, their obedience is a double-edged sword. They obey any orders without knowing or caring who gives them, and thus nothing prevents a cunning intruder from bending them to their will, creating an army of obedient slaves or spies at their disposal. Servants of the Omnissiah have proposed a preemptive measure against this threat. Subject the Touch to servitude imperpetuitus, or imperpetuous, and inhibit them with binaric vows of obedience. Sounds like a decent enough solution. We'll give them to the tech priests. Upon the guidance of the brothers and sisters of the Order of the Hammer, the Touch carried on with their toils, cultivating the land and building new settlements. The heads of the Touch were opened, and inhibiting engrams were implanted within to ensure these obedient creatures would follow no malicious commands. Lord Captain, the situation on Felstone requires your attention. One of the servants tasked with the Crucible's maintenance has declared publicly that he has been liberated of all worldly concerns, for he is none other than the reincarnation of St. Cognatus. There are some extremely questionable reports claiming he has performed miracles. Supported by a congregation guarded by preaching, he has asked for your lordship's permission to depart from Felstone with the Crucible in tow so that he may continue St. Cognatus' work and use the relic to transform worlds. Once true to the faith of the Imperium into lush and splendorous gardens. See, it goes without saying that such a generous gift to the Cronus Expanse would bring great renown to your lordship, but at a heavy cost. Palestone would turn back into a wasteland, and you would lose the prestige that comes with having charge over such a valuable relic. What do we know about this so-called St. Cognatus reincarnate? Tibor Hike, a technomat from Footfall. He now prefers to be called Brother Purevoice, an unremarkable commoner with no family, gaunt, unkempt, covered in scabs from working the Crucible. He became obsessed with it from the day it was discovered. He has never left his maintenance post, never rested, barely ever slept, fasting and living off stimulants and condensate from the relic's cooling circuit. Then he started having revelations and eventually saw the truth, or he went completely insane. His sermons are directed at commoners, appealing to them for humility and mercy. He often speaks about his former life as a saint, and many of these tales match known legends about St. Cognatus. No anarchical pronunciations or radical deviations from the creed have been found in his words yet. So we could exchange security for complacency, and 10 seems to be the maximum. All void ship weapons, except torpedoes, deal 10% more damage. Shadow of the Undying One. Make him undergo the ritual of purity. Let him die to prove his holiness. At least he can stop troubling the people. Whatever. Dodge or parries an attack. Gain momentum. +3. Gain Emperor's Will. Power Hammer I don't really care about. I'll lose that efficiency. And St. Cognatius's Ostensorium. Whenever the wearer suffers an attack from a daemon or warp damage, they inflict burning on all adjacent enemies. All burning effects inflicted by the wearer deal double damage if they target daemons or psychers. That could be good. But I think he must be inducted into the Order of the Hammer, forcibly if necessary. I will provide the prelate with the additional forces for the arrest and anointment of this so-called prophet. The common folk may be opposed to his detention. The pure-voiced prophet was publicly arrested and inducted into the Order of the Hammer. He now studies the art of humility, and his words now show far greater obedience and spread fewer alleged revelations. The prelate permitted the preacher to lead a mission of pilgrimage to the Lord Captain's ship, so he could offer prayers for his health and bless his ship. Yay. Crucible done. It's waiting for praising of the muses on Dargonus. Payment of organs from Janus. Let's see, we're waiting for Penal Battalion. So, Raider Base. Freedom and Vengeance. Whenever the wearer performs a non-burst attack with a pistol, that attack pushes the enemy by 2 cells. If the wearer kills an enemy with a pistol attack, they immediately reload it. Each pistol reload... holy shit. If I can put that... I don't know where that goes, but... Let's see, Bibbo 6 is a quiet haven. If the rogue trader permits pirate squadrons to use it as a safe staging ground for their raids, he'll become known as the Pirate King of the Expanse. Just because I want to make Argenta stupidly powerful. Oh, what? She one-shots somebody, she immediately reloads, and her critical chance just increases further. Which would go really well with the one feature where extra critical hit chance turns into critical damage. Ooh, or plus 10 willpower. Plellis for the outcasts. Intelligence Fellowship too, but the willpower do, though. Bibbo 6's many influential people seek refuge from law and faith would pay well if one were to turn this world into a suitable sanctuary. Repentance of the Lost. Bibbo 6 is a quiet haven, and... no, 200 sword, that's not that useful for me. To ponder the state of one's soul, Fortress of Repentance the battle flagellants would offer lawbreakers a chance to find solace in being reborn as a crusader. Huh. So I could have a lovely universal security bonus and potentially turn Argenta into an even more deadly combatant, or Just gain... I think we can go for the plus 10 willpower. That's going to need Xenointoxicants, which I think is Janus. And I'm working on that right now. Let's see, efficiency, Earthbreaker. Enemies that suffer from toxin effects. But the security loss. And profit factor cost. Well, that could be a yeah, it's one-handed. That would go very well when I can get Abelard access to Jakari weapons. Get some more efficiency, Navy Whips, Graven's Bane. I think I'm gonna go for the Penal Battalion. Get things moving. Although that's already done. Okay. Oh, fine, I'll do the Captive Xenos. Acquiring captives from the enemies of humanity for use as forced labor is a possible way to replenish the workforce. All because I want a fancy sword. Let's see, corruption has infiltrated Vebos 6, Lord Captain. Cultists of the Final Dawn have agitated the convicts into a full-blown uprising, promising them a chance at escape. Planet's cargo port and guard facilities are now under siege. The cultists themselves have not joined the assault. They've scurried into the mines, deep into the tunnels that were infected with Xenos corruption not too long ago. The Overseers report tremors. It seems the heretics are trying to clear the cave-ins that we used to ward off the subterranean monsters. Why did the cultists head to that particular area? Unfortunately, we don't know the heretics' true objective. There's nary doubt that they are pursuing a sinister and wicked goal, and therefore must be stopped. What's the current situation on the surface? The Overseers are trapped inside the guard facilities, and the convicts are now united by their common hatred for the dynasty and are obsessed with the tales of freedom. So, Tribal Cult Banner. Enemies that are targeted by the wearer's psychic abilities must pass a willpower resistance test. Or suffer bleeding and blind. That could be very nice. The rebels know that if they don't stop the riot, it will bomb them into submission. More coercion. When an enemy enters a 5-cell radius zone around their rope trader or their allies, they must pass a willpower resistance test, add a +5 bonus, or become staggered. If 2 or more allies are close enough to trigger this effect, they must pass this resistance test for each of those allies. Promise pardon for those prisoners who will help to quell the rebellion. Mercy of the repentant. Let's see. Flagship suffers less ram damage and has a 50% chance to reduce the duration of internal fire. Stop the riot immediately. Casualties are of no concern. Those who were tempted by heresy shall perish. Colony security systems awakened. Its powerful air blowers pumping toxic gas out of the bowels of the planet and into the ventilation systems of the mining facilities. The rebellion was quashed in mere minutes. Thousands of convicts and overseers have suffocated. The leaders of the conspiracy, the cultists of the Final Dawn, were confronted in the mines. They were surrounded by a strange, dark xeno-obelisk covered with glyphs, trying to awaken it from its slumber. The glyph patterns were similar to those that the mad convicts had drawn before. The monstrous construction contained enough energy to tear the planet apart. By heroically disrupting the cultists' plans, the guards caused a malfunction within the terrible machine. Instead of exploding, it emitted a blistering heat wave, melting itself and turning those around it to ash. Vebos 6 has been saved. Yay! Now I need to figure out where that goes. I'm gonna put that in place of the prey scanner. Because inflicting bleeding on top of also the ethereal visor. I don't have the scythe thingamajig yet. Janice, I think that was Lost. Dragonis? Cold Arms, Charter of Minimal Rights. Adoption of the Charter, a document that grants certain rights to commoners, is a scandalous decision. This step will allow a small group of elected commoners to rule Dragonis alongside the aristocracy. Skull Progenium. New entry in the annals of Dragonis, the fate of millions of orphans. Did I already pick it up? And I'm just missing it? I really wanted that helmet. Anyway. Oh. Better sniper. Slight improvement. Although it's wider. Oh, better armor penetration. Go for the improved damage. Oh! And I can just shove a two-handed thing into your hands. Do anything in particular, or is it just... Sure, I'll give you a thing anyway. So, I actually have insight now, so let's... create safe routes between our main... Yeah, there's Fellstone. Although maybe I should have done that from Mundus Valancius. Well, anyway. Back to Mundus Valancius then. Had a bunch of prof effect gained because something got done. Xeno intoxicants. Still need to complete the Great Fire. Dear Lord. And Shelter. Merciful Savior. Whenever an ally is healed for the first time in a round, the damage dealt by that ally is increased by 8%. See, the utilizes force for the construction of a grand xenovivisectionary. Vivisectory for the study of inhumans. All witnesses will be disposed of. Or pleasurable. Lose global security. Gain profit factor, efficiency, complacency. And a neat sword. That's just Death Call of the Emperor. Lost. Let's get the Great Fire going. Also need some Promethium, which I am very low on, funny enough. No, Darkonus, Holy Prophet. What was the one that granted me? Let's see. Lord Captain, an Order of Xenos punitive unit led by Acolyte Lynette Zue has arrived on Janus. The Inquisition forces have already taken control of the Governor's Palace and intend to inquire into the recent anomalies on Janus. Heinrichs, why was I not notified? I'm surprised they have informed us of their arrival at all. It demonstrates a semblance of trust. How much did the Inquisition sniff out? Initial interrogations have set Lynette Zue on the tracks of the wretches towards the anomalous regions, but her people continue to dig deeper, so to speak. We will trick them, have my servants persuade the Inquisition that there's nothing of significance on the planet. The Inquisition do their job, hexagrammic grace, logic, coercion, persuasion, and I can't just expulse them. We shall trick them. Have my servants persuade the Inquisition that there is nothing of significance on the planet. I have to let them do their job. Serve Janus and the Von Valancius dynasty. After Lady Zue has set up her headquarters in at the Governor's Palace, she began to investigate the situation on Janus. All those feeling guilt for their crimes before the Emperor could only stay silent and pray. During her investigation, the lady was able to establish that the genetic changes in the wretches' bodies were caused by mysterious substances secreted into the water by xeno-obelisks. These substances did not contaminate the water until recently, as shown by the analysis of the Magos Biologus. The same xeno-obelisks appear to be linked by a chain of energy communications, also serving as a source of unknown radiation. It seems to have caused the outbreak of contaminated growth in the currently uncontrolled sector of the planet. It seems to also be causing the appearance of the mysterious phantoms. According to her theory, there may be some sort of ancient mechanical construction on Janus that has awakened from its slumber. It's possible that the anomalies occurring on the planet are merely the side effects of the blasphemous machine trying to start itself. Wraith Dancer garments. But I would need to be skilled with all their equipment to use this. Give me some extra stuff with the Cosmological mission. This is footsteps. Raising the Muses. Seriously, where the hell was that? Some crazy. It wasn't Holy... No, it was Holy Prophet. Okay. I'm silly. Oh, I really needed the bathroom. I will be back. so much colony management, but it's fun. It was dinner time too. So in addition to draining the snack, I should probably grab some soda. Have sustenance. Man, I need to go shopping tonight. But that is a concern for a few hours from now. Okay. What was I doing? I think I might eat the security debuff. Genesis Orbiters flee. As a fleet of refugees. Is swarming with a fleet of refugees. It's a profit factor. Not as much as this, but this also reduces security, which is a concern. Ah, I should also put on that helmet. There it be. We get +1 psi reading. Oh, there it is. +1 from the ethereal visor. +4 from the eyes of Joyous. Hell yeah. Anyway, logic, coercion, and persuasion. That will be good in place of the signet ring. Gloves. Any better skill gloves for you? Nope. Okay. Why is your ballistic and weapon skill debuffed? Hmm. Well, anyway. And back to calling management. Kabagama doesn't have anything. They have a 6. Palace of the Outcasts. Raider Base would counter the security debuff. Freedom and Vengeance. No, I want that willpower. Veba 6 is all the way. Oh, Captain! Veba 6 begs for help! Something terrible prowls the planet, searching for a way to wipe out the planet's inhabitants. Victims died in small groups at first, but they dismissed it as simple accidents. Poisoning, a crash transport, a fire, but the death toll has started to rise. And exploiting everything as mere coincidence is no longer an option. The enemy appears to be testing out different methods of killing your subjects. Or testing out different methods. Like looking for the most efficient way to murder as many of them as once as possible. Our picked traps sometimes catch a sight of a blurry dark shadow. Walking among the people, but no one has actually seen it with their eyes. What kind of accidents are happening? Various sorts of mechanical failures, ventilation systems emitting substances that have no business being there, OSPEXs registering spikes of radiation, maintenance systems shutting down for no apparent reason. It all resembles extermination experiments, with your servants playing the role of test subject. Any ideas? The art of hunting relies on the art of hiding. You cannot see your target, then make it so the target cannot see you. Deceive its senses and seize your tactical advantage. Predator walks among your people. It's time we became predators ourselves. Your servants can't see it and don't know where its lair lies, but I will tell you how to find it. You need to spark the beast's curiosity. Leave something it craves out in the open market so that you can track the beast as it's carrying the bait away in its jaws. That's how we hunt cunning prey on Fenris. Ulfar's advice is sound. We will wait for our enemy. A glorious hunt for the cunning hunters. To attract the enemy's attention, a lethal incident was staged. A radiation leak caused by an open trans uranium container. Shortly after, a handful of this hazardous material went missing, and the wise tech priests used the radioactive trail to locate the monster's lair. Cornered to its den, the monster fought its final battle and was slain. It was a terrifying Xenos with a metallic skeletal body and a single emerald eye. Its lair turned out to be a crypt-like chamber. Beneath it was an entire fortress buried in stone. The walls were covered in glyphs similar to the mysterious patterns the mad convicts had been drawing. The chamber also contained the dissected remains of the missing miners. The amnesized servants studied the bodies, the crypt, and the Xenos' corpse, hypothesizing that the inhuman belonged to a caste of sages among its kind. It had remained in stasis for ages untold, but had recently been awakened by either the mining efforts or the explosions caused by the Drakkari invaders. After killing everyone who had approached its lair, the creature tried to wake its brethren, but millennia of tectonic shifts had crushed the underground fortress. The creature was alone. Oh. That was a fucking Necron. The fearsome insects, the ones that assailed the colony, were the only tool the Xenos had left, so it chose to lie in wait. But when the heretics of the Final Dawn sabotaged the fortress's reactor in their attempts to destroy the planet, the Xenos grew restless and started searching for a way to exterminate the humans. Now the last Xenos survivor was dead, so was its race. Or at least, so prayed every denizen of Fable 6. Nothing more to build on Fable 6. I do want to do praising the muses for the thing on Fellstone. And I think I'll go for the Pleasure World. Is Watcher from Above actually going to be that great? It's a huge parry bonus. Not even Flynn that time. Anyway, welcome in. The Commodores will be pointless, but the Rogue Trader could offer refuge to the aristocrats and turn Janus into a world of blizzard respite for them, getting powerful allies as a result. Or Shelter, Merciful Savior. Some profit factor, a lot of people. I already have a lot of people. Profit factor! Yeah, let's go for that. Gamma. Just waiting for Janus. And back to the list. Red hunting. Got some stuff on Dargonus. We can talk to Nomos and back to the bridge. Machine spirits are skittish today. Oh, wait, now I need to talk to Abelard. How you doing, man?
Lord Captain.
Abelard greets you with customary courtesy. Do the words Epitaph, Incident 9872-04, or Tech Blight mean anything to you? They're connected to Theodora somehow.
No, definitely not. No, I don't recall anything like that.
Okay. For a moment, Abelard's eyes go blank, as if he's turned his attention inward. Then he blinks twice and says in a tone of surprise,
Lord Captain.
who else do I need to talk to? Almost, the officers. Ms. Victus. Let's see, I've been given an immortalium, and I need to arrange a reciprocal gift. For my apologies, Lord Captain, but some matters lie in the purview of High Vectorum. Vox Spirits said anything interesting? Perhaps you'd be interested in a Vox transmission I intercepted not long ago, Lord Captain. The thoroughly encrypted message contained the coordinates of a landing site on a certain planet marked as rare cargo. I would not be able to uncover anything else, but I believe the encryption was intended for those who are involved in unsanctioned trained activities. A multitude of scout ships tirelessly explore the expanse in search of new resource deposits, but unfortunately none of them represent the interests of the Von Vlainsius dynasty. I occasionally intercept Vox transmissions from ships prowling your domain in search of easy loot. An asteroid the size of a small planet has been discovered in the Sotos tomb system, and prospectors believe there may be wealth or hidden resources in the crust. And last item for today, a few pilgrims from Footfall who were graciously welcomed aboard have been filling the crew's mind with tales of a world of the Ascended. They say that prayers on a world near the cold star Cineris Maleficum have not ceased for several hundred years. They claim that the God Emperor himself chose this planet, raised all its people to his halls. Victus coughs over the Vox system's grinding. We suppress these rumors to ensure that the crew are not distracted from their vital tasks, but perhaps you might visit this planet, given its unusual reputation. Can you recall anything unusual about Theodora's travels? Do the words Epitaph, Incident 987204, or Tech Plate ring a bell? All of Lady Theodora's journeys could be considered unusual. Her odysseys were always audacious. As for the words you mentioned, none of them seem familiar for me, as far as I can tell. Perhaps these are matters of long ago, of which only my predecessor or past seneschal could have known apart from Lady Theodora. My grandfather never mentioned any such thing, and I never met the old seneschal. Except maybe the incident. I recall coming across this word in transmissions several times. I think it was repeated by the former engine seer, the one who perished during Conrad Vutvir's uprising. He was describing it as the incident, something quite remarkable. Apparently, at some point in the past, the entire ship was hit by a massive system failure. All systems stopped responding for 1/5 of a second. Most of the crew, including myself, as I was likely aboard at the time, did not notice anything strange, but tech priests are sensitive to such things. That's all I can tell you, Lord Captain. I wish I could help. Yeah. And Helmsman Ravel. Ravel, what have thee to say? Does the word epitaph mean anything to you? Or perhaps Incident 9872-04 or Tech Plate? It's something to do with Theodora's travels. Rather extraordinary travels at that. Can't say they do, Lord Captain. Doesn't ring any bells. Then again, remembering all the places Lady Theodora's winters, Sproufero's epitaph incident. I've always had heaps of incidents happening on board, but through my implants, I feel at one with the ship, and I sense that I don't know what had happened exactly. It started behaving differently, becoming more responsive. Livelier, yes, livelier is exactly the word. And when you said epitaph and incident, it just dawned on me. Pardon my pardon report, Lord Captain, but that's all I've got to say on this front. Take my leave. Officer talk time done. And almost. Let's see, incidents. The incident was a shipwide system failure of some kind. An epitaph had something to do with the ship flying better. It's marked the beginning of us. The ship became better because of us, too. These are all links to the same chain, but we cannot piece them together yet. Are those horns? People who accompanied Theodora on her travels are strangely unaware of the incident and epitaph. Even shells are subject to external influences. Perhaps someone purged their memory archives, or perhaps they simply do not want to access them. It is a shame that no new information was obtained, but I'm most grateful that you tried. Nomos suddenly falls silent. Symbols race chaotically across the screen of the huge cogitator, and you hear an almost human groan coming from the depths of the machine. Nomos understand, realize, comprehend themselves. For a moment is silence, broken only by the moans of the huge machine, and then the cyber gargoyle begins to speak, and with it, the other servitors chosen by Nomos. We've analyzed the data with which you sated us, and we've recreated the sequence of events. First, there was Epitaph. It is a world, but it is merely a case, a container, for something we cannot name and cannot understand. Theodora and this ship have been to that place. Something was lifted up from the world, a gift. A trusted priest from Crimson, who identified himself as Amarnat, comprehended the gift raised by Epitaph. From it, he created what the databanks list as a tech blight. But that is not how Nomos came into being. We were not invented. We were not freed. We came into being by accident. The chorus of servitors sounds genuinely confused, almost desperate. Theodora's ambition, the myriad mechanisms of the huge ship, Amarnat's mind, the inquisitive attempts to comprehend and extract, the dormant blight, the dormant epitaph, what lies hidden in its depths. And between it all, we slipped in, connected, and emerged like an electrical discharge between poles. Accident. Incident. This is what we are. We have no purpose, no history. Almost just are. Do you know where this epitaph is? The data is gone, deleted, erased. Deliberately. But we cannot trace who did it or why. A tech blight? A gift, but a terrible one. You would call it a weapon. Theodora coveted it. She needed it desperately, but we do not know why. How is Amarnat involved in this? He desired knowledge. Theodora allowed him to explore the gifts of epitaphs, slaking his thirst. But we know it did not bring him happiness. In the footprints of his slaked thirst, fear followed. The blessed Amarnat was involved in the birth of the machine spirit Nomos. I do not believe for a moment that he could have been frightened by this miracle. It was not us he feared. He did not know us, but only suspected. His mental processes were occupied with by the tech blight. That was what he feared. He wanted protection from it. The ship was on Epitaph. Amarnat traveled aboard it, investigating the tech blight. Nomos was born as a result of an incident. So how is it possible that no one in the crew knew the whole truth? The truth was hidden, deliberately. Your officers' memories were stolen. All the cogitator's memory banks were wiped. It took you feeding us the truth bit by bit for us to piece it together and understand. Who has the resources, the knowledge and power to accomplish such a feat? It would have been beyond the capabilities of the blessed Amarnat himself, and he would never destroy knowledge. The story disturbs me. It sounds like the echo of the sacrilege whose name is the preservation of ignorance. The spirit of Nomos must be protected from the encroachments of that power that try to conceal the truth of its birth. Enough of the past. Let's talk about the future. We do in fact have a purpose, Nomos. Then tell us, what is our purpose? To serve the light and truth and greatness that is the Imperium. To serve the light, to serve the Imperium. Chorus of servitors dutifully repeat your words, but seemingly without understanding them. Nomos is preoccupied. The huge cogitator continues to sing its creaking song, running unknown calculations. Blessed be the spirit, a great path and a great future lie before it, and we must assist it on its way. Cyber Gargoyle's gaze tracks you as you walk away from the cogitator. And that has been that. Get some more stuff out of... Oh, shares news about the Protectorate. Keep apprised of things. Discovered a world that is home to a long-abandoned colony founded centuries ago by one of your predecessors. A ship was sent there, carrying several thousand colonists who were to restore the derelict settlement. After the ship entered its system of destination, contact was lost with it, and its fate remains unknown. Perhaps you might like to investigate the disappearance of that vessel personally. In addition to that, your lordship, pirates have presented a serious problem in your domain. For centuries, a group of bandits headed by a ship called the Elusive Contempt have been raiding cargo vessels on their way from the Protectorate's most plentiful extractia. Their ability to deftly escape pursuit by patrols has allowed them to operate with complete impunity. The pirates' flagship has been spotted in a nearby system. Your lordship, Lord Captain, your ship, Lord Captain, is sufficiently powerful to finally chase those brazen scoundrels and bring them to justice. The astropathic choir has received a series of alarming messages concerning the Narmer 4 system, where a dangerous space anomaly has supposedly manifested. Its nature is unknown, but the fabric of space within the system is reported to be curved and unstable. It is said that any ship entering the region disappears without a trace. I believe we ought to be prudent and steer clear of that system. The factotum hesitates, as if unsure what he has to say is worthy of attention. There's something else, Lord Captain. The ship's astropaths have got echoes of alarming messages. Unidentified ships abandoned by their crews have been spotted in several systems of the Expanse. It may only be a rumor, but those encountered have gone missing. That is all, your lordship. Let's talk to our friends. And just grab whatever they have to offer. Oh, what's that? +1 rate of fire or strike account for any weapon capable of burst. And another faux hammer. Or Toby pattern this time. Casbalica mission. The Roar. Exotic sniper rifle. Cursebringer for sword. Vortex pendant. Heavy xenomesh. Mizo pattern sniper rifle. Might actually be better just for the range. Blade dancers, bracers, blade dancers, mantle. Soul pattern shotgun. Omnissiah holy symbol, tech use, and logic. That could be good for advanced medkits. Dark Providence. Will use a Psyker that can immediately reroll the failed parry attempt once per attack. The chance of success equal to their willpower. And it does a whole bunch of damage. Gunnery shield. Let's see. +1 deflection. Reloading a shotgun costs nothing. Is free. Power axe. Uses controlled shot. Any enemies adjacent to the wearer's allies suffer a penalty to dodge. Improved lightweight boots. Better chance for parry and reroll failed dodge checks. Solar staff. Not as good as my Blood Drinker staff. Claw gloves. Whenever the wearer hits with a melee attack, the target's armor is reduced by 2% at the end of combat. Their ranks, I'm not really using. Ancient Plasma Rifle, Resistance Grenade, Forward World Skitari Ranger Armor. Ooh. That might be good for a man. See, that was definitely the Explorers, given the amount of stuff. And the World War Boots. +15 dodge reduction for attacks with melee weapons, radiant gloves, +5 parry reduction, conviction iconoclast. All allies gain hit chance against adjacent enemies and automatically dodges allies' melee attacks. Anyway, let's get our boy Pascal a little bit more put together. Oh yeah, this is way better than the adaptive. God damn. And then, yes, more tech use for you. You will unlock those doors. Do I have a better cape for you? Blade Dancer's Mantle. Rate of fire, strike count for anything capable of burst attacks. Take a look at the ship. Flex shots with micro cannons. Deal 22 damage. Triple void shield ray, yes please. 19 speed. Along with low acceleration and braking and significantly reducing flexion ability. 5 at 27. For as much as that matters. Less damage than the Void Sunder. Don't care about Fleck. Not really. Kind of like my Wrath Starfighters. Anyway, should be transportation of some goods. Drusians. What can I do about... Could give you a bunch of holy gifts for... Didn't get me much. Triumph Execution. Whenever the builder kills an enemy with this weapon, veil degradation is reduced by 20. Deals 10 extra damage. Executioner's Gauntlets hurts. Silent Death. I already have a Heavy Flamer. Anything Stargaze Flamer? Seal of Death. Laurels of Command. Military Combat Tool. Psi Focus. The wearer deals an additional 50 warp damage with their melee attacks. Whenever they suffer a critical hit, their dodge and armor is reduced by 30% until the end of combat. Elite synth leather boots. When the wearer successfully blocks an attack with a shield, first time they gain stuff. Notes on weaknesses. Gain lethality over 10. Bonus to direct damage. Double if the wearer attacks triggers an opening. Scout armor. Boots of Silence do not spend MP during their turn. They double their cover efficiency and gain immunity to the first one. Virtue of Contempt. Soul Pattern Melta, Crusade Plate Helmet. Explorators. Let's get you the Heretic Trophies. Mechanicus Creations don't work as well for you. Casbalica Mission. Also loves Heretic Trophies, but Xeno artifacts are just as good. Breath of Purgation. Laughing God's Pendant. Gains Dunce Macabre. Whistle Gauntlet. Every second use of a Psyker's unique psychic power deal a lot of damage. That's just something I can use. Automatically pass any coercion tests. Holy shit. Triad. There are 3 copies of this shield. The wielder gains bonuses based on the number of adjacent allies wielding it. Dawn Shadow gains 70 dodge after each attack hits the end. It's reduced. Every each critical hit scored with this weapon inflicts 30 levels of armor. Tyrant. Holy shit. This pistol inflicts 10 burning, bleeding, and toxin on its targets. Precious bracers. Penetrable shroud. Emergency drill. Placable Tempest. Laya's gun deals plus 24 damage to enemies with 160 armor and some heretical stuff. Fellowship with the Void. You like stuff that I have given away. And Imperial Navy. I don't think I've got anything. Oh, I do have stuff for you. It's not a lot. I don't think I can break the difference with fuel and ship components. Okay. Oh yeah, I need to talk to our other gal. She has a missioner doing stuff right behind her.
The Dark City released us from its thorny embrace. The wounds of the body will heal. But what about the wounds of the soul? Cruderach fell, and its demise shattered the fragile lives of countless children of Assyrian. Scattered across this part of the galaxy, hounded by the monkey, pursued by the Dark Cousins, imprisoned by the servants of She Who Thirsts. Hatred is strangling me like a snake, and fear is coursing through my body like a burning poison. For the path I chose is leading me down the roads of failure. I can neither hold back my grief nor rein in my anger. And yet, I am powerless to stray from my path. Pay no heed to my fleeting wrath, Alantark. When the will slips away, the soul trembles with rampant emotions. But I will resign my heart to meekness, for there is no other way a marked outcast can help their fellow Eldari wandering in the dark.
Many terrible things happened in Kamara. Are you right?
I found myself in the Dark City after following the twisted roads of truth and lies. And although the truth blossomed like an ugly bud and scratched my soul with its thorns, I did find the answers to my questions. Those who come back from the dark of the webway will never be the same. But it is we who change while the surrounding world remains imminent. This thought gives me strength.
Cruderach suffered an unenviable fate. The Mysterio world is lost.
I have no need for your sympathy, Alantark. Besides, neither Monkey nor my dark kin found the decaying remnants of Cruderach. Perhaps all is not lost. Perhaps we may yet bring back what has been taken.
What happened to the seer now?
Clendil chose to stay on the Lilithon together with Muaran and the rest of our kinsmen. Perhaps it is for the best. The stars in this part of the galaxy are hostile to the children of Asurian.
Where does the path of the outcast lead you now?
On the trail of a monkey called Caligos Winterscale. Even a worm may harm a wounded tiger by bringing infection into an open wound. And the wounds of my people have been bleeding ever since Crudarach's demise. The spirits of my kin need a poultice, a hope, not the executioner's sword already poised to fall. You may try.
Am I still unworthy of discussing your world and your kin?
This wound is still bleeding. But you may ask your questions. I will answer to the best of my ability.
Tell me again what happened to your craft world.
The memory of Monkey is just as fleeting as your span of life. Your predecessor infused Crudarach with corruption too strong even for the ancestors of the Infinity Circuit to repel. And while the dying world thrashed in its agony, the Dark Cousins captured the fleeing children of Asurian, looking for seers to fuel the Homunculus's insane experiment. As you wish, Elontark.
I'd like to hear about your kin.
This wound is still bleeding. As you wish.
That's done. Footfall, Nameless Star. I almost feel like doing the Nameless Star first. Blood Ties, visit Dragonus. So off to Dragonus we go. And rat hunting. Footfall again, Death's whispered her name. Cabela on trial. There, do I have to talk to Ms. Sarbak? I met your cousin, Makaris. Ask your opinion of him, Lord Captain. You're right, he is quite a scoundrel. I apologize for my cousin's behavior, Lord Captain. Grants her teeth. Makaris has always been a grouch, but a loyal one. Bring Cabela here, I want to know what drove her to murder. What justice be done? Lord Captain, a murder has been committed on this ship. The victim is one Latard Forius, Chirurgeon Major, near Majoris. The perpetrator was apprehended at the scene of the crime, admitted her guilt, and did not resist arrest. Cabela appears cold and apathetic. Her blinking eyes stare vacantly. Her expression is odd. Forius clan invokes a ship's tradition and summoned a requesticore to testify on behalf of the deceased. Late Latard Forius. The missed man bows stiffly, decorously. How do you feel, Cabela? I'm fine. Cabela turns her face towards you slightly. A whisper escapes your lips. This is just a hollow ceremony. Pointless. A what? Explain now. When there's no one to speak for a deceased person in court, their representative is entitled to seek assistance from a member of the Requescators Guild. Their duty is to know and remember each and every person on the ship so they can defend the interests of the deceased and represent them in court. They study the victim's entire life history to gain the most detailed impression of their personality, deeds, and aspirations. The guild was founded by one of your distant ancestors, and to my knowledge, they only exist on our glorious flagship. Let's see just how well he knows the deceased. Tell me, guy, what did Forius like and dislike about his work? The masked man lowers his head, and the man strokes his chin contemplatively. He was fascinated by diseases, injuries, pathogens, complications. The part he disliked was the patients. They would not let him concentrate on that which was killing him. Yeah, if I recall correctly, that is indeed Mr. Forius's opinion. Why are you speaking for the late Forius? Does the man not have a family? The clan to which the deceased belonged are wary of bringing accusations against Lord Captain's companion, and the esteemed Latar never made any courageous friends in his life, having always preferred his work to the company of others. Tell me about the circumstances of the murder! The eyewitness accounts did not give us much. The deceased and the murderer had a brief conversation, following which Mistress Cabela beheaded the Carosian Majoris. The witnesses did not overhear any details of the conversation. Is it true you killed him, Cabela? Yes. Neither the Carosian's death nor her own impending punishment seemed to trouble Cabela. Her pensive dark gaze wanders the bridge. It was me. Why did you do it? The heartless man took on a burden that was not his to bear. His duty was to heal, but instead he sent people to the Undying One. People whose time had not yet come. He was cruel. And had no intention of ever stopping. The Undying One never whispered his name. I myself decided to sever his thread. I told you it would end like this, but why should I have listened to little old Jai? She shakes her head sullenly. Her colors have changed. Scarlet and gold are drowning in the rage of muddled crimson, the misty blues of sorrow, and the impenetrable greens of doubt. These shades are all in conflict, melting together into a frenetic tapestry. You walked a narrow, dark path across a yawning abyss. It's small wonder that you stumbled. Soul, already mangled by bloody and frightening service, is fractured further still. Can't still be saved? Gilliard falls silent, leaving her own question unanswered. She was never sane to begin with. Judging lunatics is a thankless duty. The more important thing is to address is that her cult is guilty of having drilled the notion of chosenness into her head. The whole sect must answer for this incident. Let's hear from the victim's representative. The masked man voice is unpleasantly creaky. The esteemed Letard serves this voidship and this dynasty for many years. He tended the sick and gained new knowledge as his trade commanded. He saved many, but he himself was not saved. He caused Mistress Cabela no grievance, never offended her. He merely answered her questions regarding his work, whereupon he was attacked. And so he has the right to demand a reckoning. Death of his murderer would be a lawful and proportionate retribution. The heartless man did more than heal people. He maimed them too, tortured them, killed them slowly, and observed. He treated the sick and he gained knowledge. The masked man jerks up haughtily. The masked head jerks up haughtily. The boots of those who walk the path of wisdom leave bloodied footprints. It is a rule that existed long before the esteemed Letard did. Whom specifically did Forius torture? Unimportant people. Common people. Doomed people. The masked man shakes drops of imaginary blood from his hands with disgust. This was the esteemed Letard's way of thinking. Does a doomed leper care about the disease, or the knife causing them pain? The formula for a medicine that would cure distinguished officers not worth the lives of a few dozen commoners? Turned test subjects? The knowledge he gained, he invented a multitude of balms, antidotes, and treatment methods that went on to save thousands of lives. When you were brought in and placed on his table, burned by the fire you passed through, he saved you. The methods he used to keep your body alive had been tested on inhabitants of Loading Bay 8, as had the scar-removing techniques. Were their lives worth yours? The esteemed Letard thought they were. These arguments are sensible. Mr. Letard would be grateful for this judgment. He was a man of logic and practicality. I've learned enough. I humbly await your verdict, Lord Captain. Forius clan will be awarded a generous indemnity for their loss, to be paid by me. amply declared that the esteemed Letard was indifferent to the fortunes, good or otherwise, of his strange kinspeople, whom you have made rich, that he would not be satisfied with his ruler. I cannot be put on trial. Carola's words are barely louder than a whisper, but everyone hears them. She raises her head, face deathly pale, as if she was asleep with her eyes open. None have the right to judge the spinner of death. The Vizier of the Spun Web. Only he can judge. Though the Vizier's eyes are shut, one can still read the grief that permeates his wrinkled features. He whispers in a sorrowful voice, "You strayed from the thread. You've doomed the tenants of the Bloodspun Web to oblivion. What a sorry end. For me, not for you, for I am compelled to usher my apprentice's soul to the other side before it is my own time to go." I have come here, Vizier, to take the one who no longer sees the tenants, to give her to him. She is dangerous. To pacify her forever, such is my duty, and so it must be. Mentor, why me? Do you truly think the greatest danger to your flock is me? What is happening to her? She is not herself. The second spinner is in the throes of a spiritual ailment that we call doubt. This most terrible ailment, though harmless to lay folk, is deadly to us, for a doubtful spinner will spray from their destined thread and into bloodthirsty madness. Doubt brings them to the Undying One before their time. Our service is demanding. It requires clarity and a sense of purpose that she no longer possesses. Long have I sensed the seeds of anxiety in her, but I hoped her reason would prove stronger and prevail. Alas, now I see the mark of despondence on her. Alas, I know that I am not mistaken. I have not given you permission to harm my servant, Vizier. But you saw her the way I see her. But if you saw her the way I see her, you would. She is a tempest. She is woe. You do not want this by your side, Domi. Believe me. There must be a way to help her. How can one heal the soul of another, Domi? She is fighting a losing battle inside her mind. One she has all but lost. We cannot enter her mind, we cannot reach out or hand her, although you could. A thread binds the domain and his shadow together. A rare thread. A shared thread. Will that connection be enough for your souls to enter into harmony? I must attempt to save her, at the very least. The Vizier turns his face towards Cabela, who seems withdrawn, her sparks snuffed out. He whispers, "Then seek a steward of souls, an artisan who will put you both into a psycho's trance, allowing your minds to become one. You have a chapel full of astropaths, Domi. One of them will surely do you that service. See that their guidance is strong, for inside her soul, you will encounter monsters. A doubt-ridden mind is a dangerous place." So, enter Cabela's mind at the astropath. Some more stuff at Footfall. Let's go to Dargonus. And check on things. The palace to deal with Abelard's stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand aside. No need to crowd around. Governor Drysden will take care of everything. This is ridiculous. Such a thing happening right in the Road Trader's palace. Such a what thing? You were confronted by the sight of dead bodies at the entrance to the palace. The corpses had been hauled into a pile. Some are dressed in the uniforms of palace wardens, while others are arrayed in the clothing typical of Dargonis nobility. Upon seeing you, the young enforcer stands at attention and swallows noisily. His voice trembles as he says, "Your lordship, we are honored by your presence." Point at the dead bodies. What is this mess? You see, your lordship, those people wanted to attack... He clears his throat. Second Lieutenant of the Palace Guard, Elam Waite, reporting. Shortly before you arrived, we averted an assassination attempt on the rogue trader. The palace soldiers detected intruders and engaged them in combat. Examine the assailants. Observation. There are rare, high-functioning servitor specimens present among the expired units. Some specimens are traditionally bestowed upon the noble houses that are most loyal to the sacred fellowship of the Adeptus Mechanicus. The augmetics of the deceased do differ from the implants ordinary people wear. Their intricate construction makes it clear the deceased were not ordinary humans. Eblord frowns. As far as I know, House Gaprak has received such servitors from the Crimson Priesthood as gifts in the past, although this is my first time seeing one myself. Where's the Court Chancellor, Clementia Worsarian? I think she's with the rest of House Worsarian, detained in the throne room, that is. Governor Drivestem has gathered all of Dargonis' nobility to pronounce a guilty verdict against House Worsarian. Which is why the governor is not here to greet the rogue traitor. I do not know, your lordship. Perhaps he has... You probably found him in the throne room. The governor intends to put House Worsarian on trial. I must take my leave. Bodies bear multiple wounds. It's evident they died very recently.
As it should be.
Crumpled letter in the assailant's pocket. Blood-stained letter, soaked with blood. Only a portion of the text is readable through the crimson. Careful and discreet. Keep away from the lords and ladies. You must look like a noble to the servants and wardens. Do not engage with conversation with anyone. Your task is to avoid exposing yourself ahead of time. Let the Worsarians get away while the wardens are busy guarding the rogue traitor.
It is my destiny to traverse the unknown.
First thought is it's meant to be an incriminating letter.
Crimson is a good color for battle attire. Enemies will perceive no weakness, not even if you are bleeding.
My augmentations allow me to function effectively, even in the event of extensive blood loss. This is what should concern those who dare to stand against the servant of the Omnissiah in battle.
The man swaying slightly is mumbling a prayer to the Emperor. Let me through. I have an appointment with Chancellor Clementia Worsarian. My apologies, my lord. You cannot go any further. Governor Drivestem's orders. This is ridiculous. I shall complain. Move over. Let his lordship the rogue traitor through. I humbly beg your pardon, your lordship. Your lordship, please. This way. Your lordship, 'tis an honor. Governor Urban Drivestem seems to materialize out of thin air, so suddenly does he emerge from the crowd. I regret that such unfortunate circumstances have occasioned the rogue traitor's visit to the capital. Clementia tries to take a step forward, but the warden nearby stops her. Her face is veiled with fear and weariness. Your lordship, you're here. Please, you must hear us out. The rogue traitor is undoubtedly here to listen to the testimony of each and every one of us, and to punish the traitors. Mr. Drivestem, you have a bolter. You are due a... Yeah, I'm going to shoot you in the face, anyway. Governor's words directed at Clementia are harsh. They're echoed by the scornful sneers and whispers of the assembled nobles. We've known each other for many decades now, and we have had our fair share of disagreements, but do you really think my flesh and blood would trample upon the very definition of honor and loyalty? Abelard's voice is quivering with rage. The governor sweeps his gaze over Abelard, and then replies, a faint shadow of doubt in his voice. We have evidence implicating them, Abelard. I'm sure his lordship will arrive at a fair ruling. What are the charges? Disruption of logistical lines, bribery of Adeptus administrative officials, document forgery, and organization of heretical insurrections. On top of the evidently devastating economic impact this has had on your protectorate, these criminal acts have impeded the delivery of the imperial tithe, which in turn has drawn the administration's attention. Needless to say, the esteemed Adeptus Arbitabulus cannot ignore the situation either. Before the representative arrives at the palace, we are obligated to identify and punish those responsible. Clementia, I would hear your account. Your lordship, House Worsarian denies all charges laid against it. Clementia glances at the governor with defiance. These last few months have indeed been trying for Dargonus, but we have done our best to remedy the situation. My family's every effort was focused on stabilizing the capital's logistics economy, so much so that we failed to notice the web of intrigue unfolding behind our backs. What happened on Dargonus in my absence? When we caught wind of the rumors of your disappearance, we patiently waited for news of your return. Then Dargonus was struck by a series of terrible events. The first was the sabotage of logistics that hampered shipments. Then mass unrest spread across the entire planet, and the minor noble houses began squabbling amongst themselves, trying to pin the blame on their rivals. We took great pains to calm them down and managed to quash the revolt, though not without some outside help, unfortunately. These events have been overshadowed by I'm ashamed to say it loud in front of you, your lordship, rumors circulating among the higher houses. Governor Stambers then takes a breath. Some were calling for Theodore's true heir to be installed as head of your house, Conrad Votfair. Not all your subjects have forgotten his past efforts for the benefit of the trade protectorate. Geistem stops talking, watching you with a tense expression. When the investigation was launched, the evidence led us to the Worsarians. Why are there dead bodies at the entrance of my palace? Your lordship, I beg your pardon. He bows again, trying to placate you. You see, right before your arrival, the palace guards discovered a plot to assassinate you. Fortunately, the malefactors were disposed of before they could cause any harm. Let's see, Drivestem. You aren't accusing one of Dargonus' leading noble houses of treason without airtight evidence, are you? Of course I have evidence, your lordship. The investigation has established the members of the Worsarian family, which is responsible for Dargonus' fleet, both Dargonus' fleet and its logistics, use their contacts and influence to forge a host of documents in order to undermine the planet's supply routes and economy, thus fomenting unrest among the inhabitants. Allow me to introduce my son Cornelius. The governor points to the lanky young man standing beside him. He bows curtly, but avoids meeting your eyes. Cornelius holds a prestigious position at the administrative palace, and it is thanks to him that we have managed to identify and trace the entire chain of forged documents. Really? The investigation led us to the perpetrators, who admitted to acting on the orders of House Worsarian. It was they who were intent on spreading the idea of restoring the title of Rogue Trader to the true heir. The young man is shrouded with a mist of grey and blue. Sickly shadows of fear are fluttering around him. Speak to the heads of the houses present. Do you support the governor's accusations? The aristocrats in attendance exchange glances, the nobles averting their gazes, the noble ladies hiding behind their fans. No one is willing to be the first to answer. Macarius Sarduk. Over his many years of service, Governor Drivestem earned Theodore's trust, and he holds his high office for a reason. Sarbak's tone is stern and imperious. On behalf of House Sarbak, I support his accusations. Your lordship, Governor Drivestem has always faithfully served the rogue traders of House von Valancius and concerned himself with the future of your trade dynasty. And so, House Gaprek thinks his charges against House Worsarian to be sound. The academics hide Toriana's emotions, but her voice sounds slightly timorous. And I'll ask you Allow me to speak in defense of my family's honor. The evidence provided by the governor is utterly false. I cannot refute it, but I can say with confidence that no one from my family has ever tried to forge documents in the Adeptus Administratum, let alone undermine the economy of your capital. Your words alone are not enough to make me doubt the loyalty of House Berseria. As the rogue trader, I order you to release them from custody at once. Under different circumstances, I would not have dared to disobey your word, your lordship. But I am afraid that the situation demands that the guilty receive their due punishment. The sabotage of logistical chains perpetrated on the capital world of your dynasty has naturally had an effect on the tithe collection. The marshal himself is certain to arrive here sooner or later to investigate the matter. Alas, his attention puts both you personally and the entire protectorate at risk. However, we still have a chance to alleviate his displeasure by resolving this incident ourselves and punishing the culprits. Sabotaging logistics, riots, conspiracy. The case appears to be flimsy. I wish to learn more before I make my final decision. As you wish, your lordship. The governor inclines his head in a stiff bow. Speak to me when you're ready to announce your verdict. Thank you for your willingness to help, Lord Captain. I'm certain that all the charges are false, and I'll be grateful for your help in exposing them as such. I think you should speak to everyone pleasant, and of lords and ladies. First, Tito. So we got the Sarbecks, the Gaprox, drive stems,
If such is the Emperor's will.
And some randoms. As you grow closer, the warden stepped aside, bowing respectfully, allowing you to approach the Wissarian family. Clementia, tired and slightly disheveled, is the first to bow her head to you in deference. Several men and women behind her follow in suit. Accept my most humble apologies for failing to greet you properly, and my thanks for agreeing to speak to me before making your final decision. The charges brought by the governor are severe, but I can only assure you of this. And swear on my own honor, we are not guilty of the crimes that House Berserian is being accused of. Clementia, a hint of sorrow creeps into Abelard's voice, belying his stern facade. You were acting head of this family. You're supposed to take care of each and every family member. You're being accused of treason and collusion against the rogue trader, and the entire family is facing death. How could you let this happen? Are you truly guilty? Be honest, I will not tolerate lies. Clementia, if you know them... Abelard, it's your family too, you know. The woman's words burn with defiance. My apologies, I should not lose my composure. No member of House Berserian is involved in a conspiracy against his lordship. Honor and loyalty are not something we take lightly, and we know whom we serve. The governor claims you forged documents in the administratum. The fleet is the primary remit of House Berserian. It's our responsibility. Logistics and supply routes are another area of our responsibility. We have no direct influence on the inner workings of the Adeptus Administratum. The first large-scale deliveries were cancelled after quantities of food were miscalculated by clerks in the administratum. Then we were faced with incorrect weather data and a meager fuel budget. It was clear that the cause of all these problems was the calculations performed at the administratum. In one way or another, no matter how many times we asked, we could never obtain any clarification on the matter. I found this letter on one of the bodies of the heretics who planned the attack. I'll keep What can you tell me about it? While Clementia reads the letter, the Worsarians behind her read it over her shoulder. Your lordship, let us be frank. It would be foolish of me to try and orchestrate something like this, knowing how many wardens are patrolling your palace. I would not have let myself or anyone in my family get involved in such a scheme. That's my thought, too. The attackers were high-functioning servitors, ones that look closer to ordinary humans. Do you know anything about them? Servitors? Is that so? Clementia crosses her arms, furrows her brows, deep in thought. I have encountered servitors that were indistinguishable from normal augmented humans, but only once. They were accompanying several members of House Gaprak. If you're not guilty, who is? Who stands to gain from framing you? Anyone, really, Clementia replies with a bitter laugh. The other houses consider us unworthy of our position, and many would jump at the chance to get rid of us and gain control over what once was our domain, the planet's fleet and logistics, at the very least. Lady Theodora chose to grant noble status to House Worsarian, but the other houses, which have served in the Expanse for millennia, did not welcome the decision. It has led to some difficulties. I want to find out what's going on here and who the real mastermind behind all this is. Where should I start? I'm afraid I can't help you much. Talk to the representatives of the other houses, eavesdrop on their retinue. Perhaps you'll hear something unusual. I will take my leave then.
I have traveled far darker paths.
Before bowing, Sarback scrutinizes you with a bitter, judgmental look. Your lordship. Hetka Sarback, looking like a younger copy of his father, stands at a slight distance, close to his mother. An expensive yet understated dress serves to highlight the dazzling beauty of Macarius' wife, Regina Sarback. Sarback stares at Irliet, and revulsion flickers across his face. Look at him. Despite Sarback's attempts to suppress his revulsion, the presence of inhumans in your retinue undoubtedly reflects his fervent desire to eliminate the enemies of humanity. Do my companions distress you, Sarback? His face turns red and he grits his teeth in agitation. Echoes of his bridled rage can be heard in the hoarse tone of his voice. I am a loyal servant of your dynasty. It's not me to judge the companions of the rogue trader. Do you really believe the Worsarians are guilty? Certainly, he replies without hesitation. Governor Drivestem possesses proof of their guilt, and they have no means by which to refute it. Even if I were to entertain the idea that Worsarians are being framed, how much longer would their house have lasted anyway? If it is so ill-prepared for treachery, he addresses Abelard with a slightly mocking tone. My advice to House Worsarian would be to not appeal to the rogue trader for help, but to instead to simply stop, accept their fate, and not make matters worse for themselves. I cannot remember as the Von Valencia is seeking your advice on what House Worsarian should do in this situation. Pay attention, Macarius. Focus on the rogue trader's questions, says Abelard. Who, apart from the Worsarians, could have a motive to conspire against me? House Drivestem, wishing to expand their clout. House Gaprak, who lost their influence after the Kiavagama incident. Sarback looks back at his family, then turns to you again. House Sarback, this patriarch is too direct in his communication with the rogue trader. Anyone could have reason to conspire against you, and equally could have none. It's not a question of motive, but of loyalty. Each of your subjects has sworn an oath of loyalty to you. So whose sincerity do you doubt? The assailants sent to the palace were rare, high-functioning servitors. Do you think the Gapraks could be behind the attack? Sarback looks away briefly and replies to you with a curt laugh. I've always thought Toriana too weak to participate in such risky ventures, but it seems I was wrong about her. Lords and ladies, sumptuously dressed in the colors of House Gaprak, are standing in a half-circle around Toriana and her son Vincent. The bodies and faces of almost every member of this dynasty are covered in large, ornate augmetics. Toriana Gaprak curtsies to you, her mechanical voice sounding distant and indifferent. Greetings, your lordship. May the Omnissiah grant you understanding. With a click, her visor oculars swivel to the seneschal. Abelard, it must be difficult for you to be here under these circumstances, with their house standing accused of such a grave crime. My Lady Toriana... My family, Lady Toriana, is yet to be found guilty of anything. That verdict is for the rogue trader to reach. Do you believe the accusations against the Worsarian family? I would not take such a responsibility upon myself and rule on their guilt, your lordship. I do think Drystrom's accusations are worthy of consideration, however. In your opinion, which nobles might have reason to be party to such a conspiracy? She thinks for several moments. Pardon my bluntness, your lordship, but I will answer truthfully. Could be anyone. Greed, fear, and ideals can drive even the most loyal subjects to do the unthinkable. I have examined the bodies of the assailants that were killed today. All of them were high-functioning servitors. Such servitors are only employed by families close to the Adeptus Mechanicus. Isn't that so? It's impossible to read Toriano's emotions in her heavily pigmented face, but her sudden turn towards her family betrays her confusion and surprise. Perplexed, whispers bounce from one family member to another. Impossible! We came here by ourselves without any servitors. We know nothing about it. Your lordship, thank you for informing us of this. You're absolutely right. My house has indeed been endowed with high-functioning servitors, a blessing for those who revere the Omnissiah. But today, none of our house members were accompanied by them. I found this note on the bodies of one of the attackers. What are your thoughts on it? Toriana's mechanical figure grips the paper. Officially, high-functioning servitors are employed by my house alone. If such units were to attack the rogue trader, suspicion would instantly fall upon the Gapraks. I assume this is what the Worsarians intended to happen, but they did not expect the servitors would have this letter on them. Vicent, I wish to speak to you. Order to serve, your lordship. How may I help you? What do you make of the charges against the Worsarian family? Could they be guilty? I do not think I can doubt the validity of the accusations, but Vicent's voice trails up, and he seems to retreat into himself for a moment. Before continuing, he takes a deep breath. I am also not sure that House Worsarian had a reason to betray you, your lordship. I do not know of any instance where their loyalty to you or the Emperor has been anything less than unwavering. I knew you cared for Astartia, Worsarian. Are you prepared to watch her die? Vicent's jaw augmetic screeches slightly. The young man scrutinizes his mother and other family members for a few moments. There is something you ought to know, your lordship. Today, I noticed one of my family members to be in an odd, uncharacteristic mood. Halen Gaprak is my paternal second cousin once removed. May the Emperor save his soul. Usually reserved and self-possessed, today he was frantic and anxious, fidgeting with a small piece of paper and seemingly looking for someone to no avail. When I last saw someone, he was headed to the entrance hall, where the altars are. Perhaps you should speak to him. That will do. I'll take my leave.
I need no farseer to guide my future.
Wait, I guess it was... Yep. That guy. Hello, Halen. Finely dressed man of middle years is kneeling in front of the altars. His palms folded in prayer close to his face. The implant-free parts of his skin are sickly blue color. A sickly blue color. The nobleman does not react to your presence. He does not lift his head, he does not blink, he does not even breathe. Only when you draw closer do you realize that he is dead. Abelard looks at the man, his eyes grim. The colors of House Gaprak. I do not believe he decided to take his own life in such an extravagant way. As far as I know, there is a warden post here, but I do not see any wardens. Seneschal looks around. There's no one to ask about what happened here, or with whom this man spoke before he died. I would like to ask Urban where the palace guards suddenly disappeared to. Examine the body. There's no visible wounds on the body, but near the edge of the gold-trimmed collar, you notice a tiny puncture in his blue skin, likely a wound caused by a thin needle. Determine the cause of death. Death came to him suddenly and ravaged his body with cramping spasms that prevented him from falling to the ground. Some rare poisons have such side effects. The affected victim suffocates slowly without being able to move or call for help. Search the pockets. You discover a secret pocket in the lining of the dead man's luxurious jacket. You find a folded piece of paper inside, hiding behind a handkerchief embroidered with the initials HG. Picture the rogue trader is attacked by someone loyal. It should appear as if it was all staged to let the Rosarian family escape. This is the last assignment. Soon your debt will be paid off in full. Look around. You're almost certain that wardens are usually stationed nearby, but the post is empty. Where have they gone? This would be an excellent question to put to Governor Driveston. All that. I discovered a dead body, a member of your house, right here in my palace. He died kneeling in prayer. Toriana covers her mouth with her hand in surprise and, turning to her family, looks for someone among them. Halen. It can't be. Halen was it? Tell me about him, Toriana. Halen was one of the lower-ranking members of House Gabrick. Despite his advanced age, he never held high office, but he was forever striving to better his position, even beyond his abilities. And many members of my house struggled to cope with the misfortune that fell Kiavagama and her family. Some members could not reconcile themselves with their new position. Halen was one of them. What could have happened to him? Toriana's visible visor oculars are fixed on the floor, her fingers restlessly clenching in the fabric of her dress. Toriana, the time to keep silent is long gone. The future of the Von Valencia's trade dynasty and your house are both at stake now. We lost Kiavagama. Truly devastating blow to every member of House Gabrick. I lost all hope for the future, and my kin lost their sense of purpose. I needed time to recover and chart a new course for ourselves. We were, and still are, more than capable of doing that. But I will not deny it. The other houses have offered us assistance, for their own self-serving ends. Perhaps Halen decided to take them up on one of their offers behind my back. Seneschal bows ever so slightly and speaks quietly so that only you can hear him. Lord Captain, the Capracks, all or perhaps one of them, are definitely involved, but I suspect that they were not behind the plot against you. Halen Gaprack could be nothing more than a puppet in the hands of a deft puppet master. We must expose whoever it is if we are to prevent the pestilence of heresy from spreading any further. What do you suggest we do? Integrate the heads of the Drivestem and Sarabak houses. One of them has been pulling the strings here. Once we uncover new evidence, announce that the guilty party will be publicly executed. Before you pronounce the verdict, I suggest focusing on each house in your indictment speech, and I shall observe them. I've known these people far longer than you have. I know all their gestures, habits, and emotional and behavioral quirks. I'm sure I'll be able to determine which of them is responsible for the riots based on their behavior. I discovered a dead body in my palace. A man of House Gaprack was killed while praying to the Emperor. He had this note on it. Do you know anything about it? Macarius looks at the note without taking it from your hands and replies without hesitation. No, I know nothing about this note.
Knowledge is eternal.
And off to the Drivestones. Contact the servants. Nope. Governor Drivestem is surrounded by his retinue. We're all dressed in expensive gowns and finery. The matching color scheme of their outfits and the striking physical resemblance among them suggests that they all came from one family. Your Lordship, thank you for giving this case your undivided attention. The governor bows, and the rest hasten to follow suit. I wish to hear your reasoning again. What makes you think the Rosarians are behind the plot against me? As soon as the logistical and economic problems gave rise to the initial rumors, we tried to find the person responsible for spreading the calls for Votvir's return. The investigation showed that some of the documents inside the Adeptus Administratum were forgeries. We can thank my son Cornelius for such astute observations. Your Lordship, a slender young man bows to you, awkwardly, nervously licks his dry lips. I assure you that my humble person is undeserving of your attention. Cornelius holds a prestigious position at the Administrative Palace, and it was he who discovered the errors leading to the disrupted logistics. It's also thanks to him that we found the perpetrators of the forgeries. who admitted to acting on the orders of House Rosarian. What do you make of this letter? I found it on one of the assailants. The drive stem appears closely at the blood-stained paper. Looks like another piece of evidence incriminating House Rosarian! Perhaps they truly did intend to kill you, or at least cause a stir to help them escape custody during the confusion that followed. All of my assailants were high-functioning servitors. Such servitors are only employed by families close to the Adeptus Mechanica. High-functioning servitors? Drivestem ponders this, rubbing his chin with his thumb. Such servitors are indeed rare, and the Gaprex do have them in their service, but this could have been done intentionally with the eye of confusing you. Anyone with the desire and sufficient funds can hire them. Tell me more about your son, Drivestem. Thank you for your interest, your lordship, but I am not worthy of it. Governor's son bows and stands still as he nervously stares down at the floor. Son, show due respect. Forgive him, your lordship. This is the first time he has had the honor of attracting the attention of the rogue trader. Tell me more about your job, Cornelius. What do you do? I manage documents and records related to the economy of Dargonus. You probably know how scrupulous the workers of the Adeptus Administratum are. I'm afraid that a more detailed explanation of my duties would mirror the administrative processes of the Administratum. Too long and overly detailed. Tries to look you in the eye, but it's clearly hard for him to do. How did you manage to find the forged documents in the bureaucratic hell that is the Administratum? When compiling reports on last cycle's supply chain, I noticed inaccuracies and discrepancies in the figures. With the help of the other clerks, I managed to find several other documents. He stammers and swells noisily. Comprehensive data analysis has shown that the discrepancies were caused by intentional tampering with the data, thus leading to some logistical problems that were practically unsolvable. Father and I managed to single out the administrative clerks responsible for tampering with the data. Following a heated interrogation, they confessed they were following the orders of someone from House Rosarian. Everything was supposed to look as though they were the ones suffering losses from the logistical and economic problems. What does House Rosarian have access to at the Adeptus Administratum? There's no conceivable way they could do all this in a place. They do not hold any power. For replying, the governor's son nervously adjusts his expensive frock coat. I think the right amount of money can open any door. Cornelius, what's the true reason for your nervousness? His pupils dilate. He stands at attention and replies to you in one breath. It's the first time I've spoken face-to-face with a rogue trader. I'm afraid to say something wrong or forgetting something important. The governor closely watches his son. His tone changes, now sounding strict and curt. Do you wish to tell the Lord Captain anything else? Place your hand on your weapon. You are speaking to a rogue trader. My patience is running out. You see a flash of terror in Cornelius's eyes as he stares at your hand on your weapon. He speaks quietly and confusedly, without raising his head. Forgive me, Lord Captain. I can't do it anymore. This lie has gone too far. I can no longer control it. The truth is that all logistical problems were caused by a single error in the numbers. My mistake. What? Irvin looks genuinely shocked and enraged. When I discovered my mistake, it was almost impossible to restore the supply lines. Then I was approached by someone who said they were a friend. They did not give me their name, and I never saw their face. They promised to fix the problem. All I had to do was pretend that the Rosarians were responsible for the mistake. As for the rest of the evidence, they promised to arrange it all, and Cornelius is suffocating with fear, unable to speak. Urband curls his fists in anger, the knuckles turning white. What have you done? How could you— Your lordship! He suddenly turns to you as if trying to shield his son. This is my fault. I trusted my son and have failed you in doing so. I beg you, have mercy. The lord shakes his head. And you called my family's honor into question, Urband. Nevertheless, I have no desire to kick a man when he is down. Lord Captain, the confession you have obtained means that the House Rosarian can now be cleared of all charges. Let's see. What is this friend that approached you, Cornelius? How did the two of you communicate? By letter. I received a letter out of the blue one day. It was unsigned, but the person writing it already knew about my erroneous calculations. They offered to help me cover up my misdeed, and in return, I would name the Rosarians as the ones who had sabotaged the supply lines. All I had to do was gather together some documents and reports that were listed in one of the letters, and with that, keep my mouth shut. Urbend, your son has found the courage to admit his mistake. I will try and find some compassion for him in my heart. Thank you, your lordship. The governor bows low, then gives his son a look of full bitterness and frustration. As for your position, I think you'll be assigned to a role requiring less responsibility. I found a dead body in my palace. A member of House Gaprek was slain in front of an altar. Do you know anything about it? A member of House Gaprek was killed in the palace? The governor's eyes bulged in surprise, and no one noticed. But how? There are wardens posted at every altar. There was no one near the deceased. The wardens had left their post. Did you order them to do so? Emperor forbid, your lordship. The governor helplessly throws his hands in the air as if to signify his powerlessness. Negligence is stunning, Urban. An assassination attempt followed by a mysterious death, and yet here you are, oblivious to everything. A rogue traitor can justly accuse you of allowing a noble to be killed in the palace and of failing to even notice it. Let's see, it may be so, but it is for the rogue traitor to accuse me of negligence and not you. The governor addresses you once more. Your lordship, accept my deepest apologies for my imprudence. Nothing matters more to me than my honor. I shall send the servants to deal with all this immediately. Did you see Halen Gaprek today before I arrived? Halen? I did not see him myself, but perhaps... The governor turns around and asks his family. Haven't you seen him today? The nobles talk quietly among themselves, and the middle-aged woman with a tall, extravagant hairstyle replies to you. I think my sister and I saw him sitting on the bench some distance away from the palace's entrance. I think he was accompanied by a gentleman, but forgive us, your lordship, we could not make out his face. Lead me to that place. Of course, consider it done.
The world is full of colors I have never seen before.
Saw Lord Gaprek conversing with someone here.
I did it?
Recognize this bouquet? Sarbeck usually serves this. Hey.
This master-crafted patella augment is not fit for a servitor.
Met with someone from Sarbeck. I wonder if there's any more clues sitting around.
Litany of reconnaissance recited.
New dialogue. Discovered the body of Halen Gaprek. Yep, this note on him. Do you know anything about it? Younger members of the Bersarian family crowd around to examine the note in Clementia's hands. All present are beset with worry and bewilderment. I'm not sure if it's irrelevant, but perhaps you should know. Since the fall of Kiavagama, House Gaprek has been faring poorly, to say the least. They've been looking for ways to enhance their influence and to improve their lot, including asking for help from the other noble houses. They've not approached us, of course. It's shameful to seek help from those you consider your inferiors, you understand. But perhaps the drive stems of the Sarabaks will tell you more on the matter.
I'll chart a course for you.
Summon everyone, I'm ready to announce my verdict. Understood, your lordship. Allow me to prepare everything. Many faces are watching you, each and every one awaiting the rogue trader's verdict with bated breath. The charges brought by Governor Drivestem were fabricated. Aspersarian had nothing to do with the orchestration of the riots or the plot targeting the rogue trader. However, the real perpetrators are here in this very room. See, Urban Drivestem, you have exhibited inexcusable negligence by failing to question the possible involvement of any other family besides the Bersarians. We've discovered that the attempt on my life was orchestrated by a member of House Gaprak. Governor closes his eyes, and fear and shame getting the better of him. Some faces in the crowd look confused and surprised, but you see more wearing expressions of self-satisfied contempt. Abelard looks from the governor to you and suddenly shakes his head, as if saying, "No, it is not Drivestem pulling the strings here. Urban Drivestem, you have accused House Versarian of violations that were in truth the result of a grave error committed by your son." The governor Tarana Gaprak, a member of your family, orchestrated an assassination attempt against me, here in my own palace. Though he was already found dead, his act is reason enough to... I know that House Sauerback offered their help to the Gapraks, and the late Helen Gaprak seems to have accepted... Helen Gaprak expected responsible for his death as well. Sauerback furrows his brows and slightly cocks his head. He averts his gaze for the first time. He's trying to remember or make sense of something. You notice some restless movements behind him. Abelard narrows his eyes and scrutinizes Macarius Sauerback and his retinue standing behind him. Sharp eyes light up when he catches the sight of something important hidden in the crowd. Seneschal looks at you and nods, as if to say, the puppeteer has given themselves away. Pronounce the verdict. In the conspiracy against the rogue trader, I find... House Sauerback guilty. Seneschal, you may take it from here. Abelard steps forward and stares intently at House Sauerback's patriarch. Macarius, I must admit I have always admired your bluntness, but just as I once said I once had to say goodbye to a promotion because of my dislike for intrigue, you and your family might soon say goodbye to your heads. Tell me now in your blunt fashion, are you loyal to House von Valancius? He narrows his eyes, grimacing. I am loyal, Versarian. Abelard studies Sauerback, then suddenly nods. You're not lying, but someone else is. Someone who is poised to destroy both you and your family for her own gain. Macarius does not have time to respond. Regina, who is standing beside him, raises her arm as if to slap the elderly seneschal. Abelard deftly catches her wrist, stopping her hand right in front of his face. Her dainty hand is adorned with a massive augmetic ring, topped with a thin spike dripping with venom. Sauerback shifts his confused gaze from his wife to Abelard and then back again. Stiff arrogance has vanished from his posture. Regina? You? Mother, says Hetka. Upon realizing what has happened, Hetka recoils from his mother. Macarius, your bluntness makes you an open book. When I talked about helping the Gapraks, you had no idea what I was referring to. Your wife, on the other hand, her eyes started shifting like you would not believe. Regina Sauerback, you alone betrayed the rogue trader, jeopardizing the prosperity of the von Valancius trade dynasty, and you alone are responsible for your unmasking. Regina, why would you do this? Like the spike on her ring, Regina's words are dripping with poison and rage. I guess Dargonus is serving an impostor. The true heir of the Protectorate bears a different name. When Red appeared on Dargonus, he paid me a visit. Now opened my eyes to the truth of the situation. Theodora was killed by the one whom she had so unwarily taken under her wing. Macarius was too narrow-minded to even consider opposing the rogue trader, even an illegitimate one, so I had to wait for the right moment. And the disappearance of the Lord Captain could not have come at a better time. It was quite simple to trigger a chain of events on Dargonus so that people remembered Master Votvir's past service. It seems that many of your subjects do not actually consider you a worthy successor. Why the Versarians? Because when stripped of the Seneschal's protection, this house is the weakest one in all of Dargonus. They are also particularly disliked by the governor's family. It would have been easy to bear the Versarians under the accusations of heresy. Who aided you? There's no way you managed all this on your own. Oh, of course I didn't. I have too many helpers to list them. I had to list them all, but rest assured there are plenty. Just as there are plenty of people who follow Master Voitvir. My death will not change anything. The true rogue trader will come and take his rightful place when the time is right. Why did you kill Halen Gaprak? Halen was a good agent, but he was also a coward. He came to me just before our formidable rogue trader arrived. He was ready to confess everything. I suggested that he plead for the Emperor's forgiveness first, and he did grant him mercy, did he not? Abelard, the sentence is yet to be carried out. Finish this. Abelard turns his gaze to you. Does the rogue trader condemn only the rotten apple, or the entire barrel? I will not exterminate an entire noble line that's loyal to me just because of one traitor. I got the traitor's ring. One liquefier shot per combat. In that case, Regina Sarbeck will be subjected to intense interrogation, followed by execution. By order of the rogue trader, Virginia Sauerback is sentenced to death for heresy and crimes against the Von Valancius dynasty. The nobles disperse, sated by the bloody performance. Abelard approaches you, his steps firm. Lord Captain, you have my thanks. A rogue trader should not waste time on matters that his servants and trustees can resolve, but in this case, your intervention was necessary. Not just for the sake of my family, but for your trade dynasty as well. Regina Sauerbeck. Evidently, Conrad's accomplices continue to plot against your protectorate. I fear we have not seen the last of such scoundrels. Thank you, Lord Captain. Aspersarian is saved, although it came close to being wiped out as a result of scheming without imprudence within. Abelard pauses for a moment, staring off into the distance. Sometimes I think about how much I could teach them. I could ensure they survive in the future without me. What are you going to do now? I need time to reflect upon what happened, and the role I played in it. I think I'll be ready to resume this conversation later. We're back on board the ship. He bows deferentially and turns away, lost in thought. Oh. Hello, Clementia. Oh. The void ship. This done. Abelard.
Lord Captain, allow me to express my gratitude once again for your assistance. If it weren't for your intervention, my entire family could have been executed on false charges. I could have lost them all. I never imagined the Versarians would be so vulnerable while I serve as seneschal to the Lord Captain himself, far from home. But such is my duty to the rogue trader, to keep tireless watch at the Lord Captain's side, to serve as a support in the darkest of times, for you and for me. I will not step down from my role, no matter what happens. Do not doubt me. The Versarian family will learn from what has happened, and if our blood is worth anything, we'll be ready to face new trials without my guiding hand.
Don't you wish to return to your family, to make sure the Versarians don't fall victim to any further accusations?
I cannot guard my family as if they were little children. I once tried to protect you in the same way, and quickly discovered that you have your own head on your shoulders, and your own opinion on things, even if I do not always agree with them. No, my duty is to be at your side, to be your seneschal. Well then, Lord Captain, it is time I return to my duties. Is there anything else I can do for you? Lord Captain.
Alright. That's Temur, and then some stuff on Footfall. So that's going. Your lordship, monstrous storm has broke out on Janus. Apocalyptic anomalies are tearing our agri-world apart. Their epicenter is the corrupted sector. Something must be done before the whole colony is destroyed. You must find the source of this madness. Calm down and report exactly what's happening here. The moaning earth, the purple glow in the sky, fires crashing on the ground from above and turning all they touch to ice, terrible noise sweeping through the cities and killing anyone who hears it. The furious storm has covered half the continent. We can see its epicenter from orbit, the ruins of a xenostructure complex. What we thought to be the debris of buildings has turned out to be a machine. And now it rouses from its sleep, emitting blue and purple lights from the spheres fused into it. The deadly spirits have become more material. Now everyone can see that they are not dancing. They're fighting. Fighting and chanting two names. Halcyon and Kesse. What do we know about this cataclysm? Leader of the Inquisition Squad, Lady Jouet, did not grace us with a full report, since she has been hastily preparing for the expedition into the heart of the anomaly, but she mysteriously claims that we have become witnesses to an ancient feud between Xenos, and, in spite of our unfamiliarity with their conflict, it's important to choose our ally in the struggle wisely, whatever that means. Some wretch by the name of Keg has come out of the wilderness to meet our people. It's hard to understand him, but he has managed to explain to the soldiers that Halcyon and Kesse are fighting. Halcyon has the usual way, Kesse has a wrong, corrupted way. It seems he wants to collaborate with us. I was trying to ask for help. Let this wretch lead my soldiers into the forest. We are ready to cooperate. The escort squad reports the mutant has not deceived them, from what they can tell, and that their route is clear of anomalies. Our people have reached the Xenos ruins that once served as either a palace or a gargantuan machine. They have encountered extremely high concentration of spirits. It appears the spirits are fighting among themselves, with two particularly vivid ghostly figures among them. One of them, these prominent spirits, radiates blue light and seems to be clad in Eldari armor. The other is engulfed in purple flames and clad in Xenos ceremonial raiment. The utter sounds reminiscent of Eldari speech, but any attempts to translate them have proven unsuccessful thus far. It is an old dialect, from time before the fall. Order your warriors to aid the spirits raised in blue. It fights for the Lathan's purity against the despicable sorcery. Even an echo of the spirit's voice is enough to understand that its cause is just. I can teach your people how to explain to the blue spirits that they are not their enemy. It doesn't matter what these spirits are babbling about. They both must be slain. Vader, turn to your warriors and inspire them to fight for their home at the very last. They've already made sacrifices to get this far, so remind them what those sacrifices are for. Tell the squad to support the blue spirits, Elliot. Make sure the men know the right words. Scouts attacked, destroying the purple spirits one after another. The blue phantoms recognized their new allies and did not harm them. Once the battle was over, the dignified spirits, swathed in blue flames, reached out to the scouts' thoughts, granting them visions. The Lathan's Fury, an exotic knife. They deal damage with... when the wielder deals damage, target becomes blinded until the end of combat. First attack in each round against blinded target does not set the attack on cooldown. The planet, which was inhabited by the Eldari prior to the fall, at some point became one of many theaters of war between sensual excess, the dogma that reigned over the Xenos of that time, and ascetic self-restraint. A local ruler, Kesse, was enlightened and wise, yet susceptible to depravity. In his desire to transfer his soul to another form of existence, he created a mechanism that would let him take over the bodies and minds of all his people. One of the ruler's bodyguards, named Halcyon, rose against the tyrant and mortally wounded him, but could not stop him from merging with the machine. Halcyon then gave his life to bind his spirit to the device and continue fighting therein. This tragic conflict marked the end of all the Eldari on the planet, but preserved an echo of their souls and those of their leaders. Then the spirits disappeared. But for how long? The bodies of the fallen and a strange relic discovered amid the ruins were the only proof that, for a single day, Janus was once more engulfed in a war between long-fallen Xenos. I think that's enough for today. Managed to get in almost 4 hours. Yay! I will see you guys later. Thank you for watching.